Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Very happy to have you here. It's been quite the week. And therefore, because of that, I'm going to talk about puppies and fairy tales and fluffy things for about 10 minutes. It is a beautiful day out where I am. The temperature's definitely dropped quite a bit. I do have a hot cup of coffee, which is nice. And, you know, my weekend was quite slow in a way. Which is nice. I did have to run around and do a little bit of shopping stuff, but it was relaxed. So that's nice. But we have had a very mild summer here. It hasn't been very hot whatsoever. We've had a couple of days, and of course, we had that hot day that always snaps summer about a week and a half ago, I guess, 2 weeks. And therefore, it's just going to get cooler from here, which is good. And of course, we haven't had a lot of rain. We've had some, but we haven't had the rain that the farmers would prefer. So it's been one of those because it's hard being a farmer, man. They either get too little rain or too much rain. It's rarely that they get just the right amount. Of course, managing that with the irrigation and such is always optional. But it is you know costs money and time and things like that. Having nature help you out is always kind of a better way to go. But nevertheless, be coming into fall here soon enough. September is just flying along. This is a holiday over here in Japan. It's actually this is Elderly Day, Old People Day, and basically what they do is they send all the elementary kids out to do things with old people in the towns, which is nice. I think it's nice. And we don't really have that, do we? I don't recall having an elderly day in the West, but it's a good idea. It's a nice thing. Nevertheless, I'm going to go over here and hit that like and share button. Please do that as well. Let everybody know we're on. And of course, we'll get right into various things here momentarily. Let me go ahead and bring up. Oh, yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. Let me bring up the aforementioned puppies. There we go. Okay. Gotta have the puppers there because the world we live in. But nevertheless, I go ahead and leave that right there on the small screen. I guess we can give a shot of it on the big screen real quick. Oh, big old puppies. Oh, the puppies. Very nice. But what other kind of nice, soft things can we talk about for a few minutes here? I know that I haven't been reading very many comic books lately, which is something I enjoy. It's kind of a pleasure thing, right? Most of my reading is in regards to my work, right? So it's study stuff or just refreshing my knowledge on something or whatever. We all have to study for work, whatever that may be. But so I don't get a lot of time to kind of read for fun. I haven't read a novel in forever, but I used to use that with comic books. I just haven't had a chance to do it much. I'm busy with other things. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back to that because I do know amongst all the nonsense trash coming out of the big companies. Although I do want to read that absolute stuff on DC. I hear it's better. But I just you know, it is something fun to do that I haven't been able to do in a while. It's Flying Saucers in here, and he says, "Same here. My yard looks like a desert." Fair enough, dude. Yeah, no, yeah, we do have some browning, but the problem we also have with that is, what was it, 2003, 2006, 2003, I think was the year. We had a shift. Like I said, we're supposedly in this 400-year cycle solar minimum thingy. So it was around 2003, I think, is when the sun did its little shift thing there and went white on us, and of course it started putting out an additional two. not one, but additional two UV light streams, which was kind of interesting. There's a whole bunch of papers written on it because that's over 20 years ago, but no one reads those, I guess. But
Nobody.
nevertheless, we do get browning because of that and trouble. And of course, even though it's not really hotter, it feels more painful on your skin, doesn't it? We do have a Thundero. Hi, hello, Thundero. How you doing?
Hola, señor. How are you?
I'm
¿Cómo
doing pretty
está?
good.
¿Cómo está?
Co-
I'm
co-
terrible. I've been
co-
I've been feeling
Como
like death all day.
you got a cold, or you
Yeah,
went
just my
you
I don't know.
you
I
turned into a Spanish man on me, so
Oh God, please never. Um,
hey, they get the
it's a
ladies
lot
though.
of yeah, but you're eating so many beans. Like there's
That
just
is
so
true.
many
Well,
beans.
I
There's
mean,
only
not
so
if you
many
go to
beans I
the.
can eat.
We could go European Spanish for you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
They smell. All right, let's just be honest
oh,
about it. They're not very
fair enough.
hygienic. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of interesting with Spain and particularly Portugal. Portugal, of course, is suffering with their stupid government, just like so many other Europeans under this migration and all the nonsense that's going on with those communists over there. But
Yep.
they what's There is an interesting phenomena happening in those two places, as well as Sicily and with Italy. But is You get a lot of people are migrating there, but not the normal "give me free stuff" people. The people with a little bit of money in their pocket are going and buying old properties, old, like we're talking hundreds of years old things, and refurbishing them and living in them. It's interesting because Europe's got some beautiful land over there. Let's be fair. There's some gorgeous stuff. America too, but ours is more rugged and wild, right? Where theirs is people have been doing stuff there for who God knows how long, right? So that's
Millennia.
yeah, millennia for sure. But it is interesting, particularly Portugal. So many beautiful old stone buildings being refurbished and lived in, life coming back to, and vineyards being done, gardening. It's cool. I like this return to the land thing. This home, of course, Americans we have homesteading as well, but a lot of people are just, because they're sick and tired of. Oh, by the way, I'm speaking of puppies for 10 minutes.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
because I'm probably going to lose my shit. Maybe.
Yep. Yep.
Puppies,
Oh,
puppies. No, 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 don't do it. It's puppy time.
Oh, I never finished. No, I've just been having like stomach cramps. I think I ate some bad shit.
Oh, well, yeah, that happens. I've food poisoned myself a few times in my life. It is what it is. My monitor's broken, by the way. It works. I'm using. You guys are viewing the puppies through that monitor, but I can't see it because I can't get it turned on. But it works though. Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna go buy a new one today. They cost like $50 now. You can get a monitor. Goodness gracious! I
Over
bought this
here.
used like 6 years, 7 years ago for like freaking $80.
Yeah. No,
Unbelievable.
all that stuff's a lot cheaper than it used to. Like TVs.
Oh yeah.
I'm old enough to remember when a real old school HD TV was like
Mm.
$2 or $3,000,
Oh yeah.
and now you can get them for like 400.
Oh yeah. I stupidly paid money for those things.
Before anybody even did anything in HD, you were out there just throwing money around. I
I
see how
did.
it is.
I did. I've done that a few times. I learned though. You can be
Mm.
dumb and make mistakes in your life, but just learn from it. It's all right. It's all right. And I'm
You're
kind of
allowed to
wondering,
be wrong.
you
You're
are.
not allowed to be consistently wrong.
No, no, you should learn. You need don't that makes you an insane idiot. Don't be that. Go out there and improve yourself and do better. But and We're going to get into that a little bit today. I think that very topic. But Not yet.
Mm.
No puppies.
Puppies. While you
Okay.
talk about puppies, I'll be right back in like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, well, that's a lot of puppy talk. Let's see here. Roger says we can talk about other things, but things are getting sad. Really, yeah, I know, dude. My favorite makes me smile animal is river otters. Yeah, no, a river otters are cute. I get that. I understand that, but also understand they are brutally vicious, murderous, rapist creatures. Creatures. Just understand that. Otters are some of nature's most nasty things. But you're right, they are cute. Yeah, but there's a lot of things like that, like a honey badger. It looks cute at a distance until it starts trying to devour your testicles. You know. But nature is brutal, and therefore a lot of things are pretty nasty. I always thought it was kind of interesting in my home. Um, we used to have black bears, but you don't see them anymore. I, of course, have seen there's an occasional sighting of a random moose that makes it that far. We are near Canada, but we're usually don't get many mooses. Moose eye. Yeah. But of course, we don't have any wolves anymore. We have deer. We have a lot of white-tailed deer. We even have albino deer down on the island. And so we don't have a lot of big critters. We get the badgers, which are nasty things, of course, all day long. Various marmots and things like that, rabbits, squirrels, of course, lots of squirrels. But we do have ourselves skunks, which are, we all know what a skunk is. But we also have raccoons, fairly large ones. And raccoons are an interesting little thing, because during the day, they can be quite playful and friendly, actually. You're like, oh, that's a nice little critter. And then nighttime rolls around and they're trying to tear your throat out. I don't know what it is, but they are literally Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde when it comes to the nocturnus there. So beware the raccoons at night. Stay away from them. Those trash pandas will do you wrong. Trust me. Alan says, are describing liberal women. Yeah, well, fair enough. And it has been 12 minutes. I'm going to wait a little bit for Thunder to come back because, Alan, we were talking about puppies and cute stuff for 10 minutes because we know how the YouTubes are. I wonder if we're going to see a change with that because, boy, howdy, did we have ourselves an event. Now, of course, you know, we all know the situation with Charlie, of course, and it's a sad thing. But and of course, rest in peace, Charlie. Safe journey, and of course, to his family, his wife, and his children, and all that normal stuff. But of course, Charlie, a very young man, 31, I do believe.
9 years younger than me. That's wild
Yeah,
that he was
yeah.
that successful. That's an amazing man, to be honest with you. Like whether you agree with him or not on anything, or did agree with him, I guess, since he doesn't have opinions anymore. Um, he what he accomplished
Is
in his
amazing.
short
Yeah,
life is
good for
amazing.
him.
It's
Good
just
for him.
amazing.
Yeah. Now, obviously, some higher up people within the Republican Party or just conservative movements in general saw what he was doing on the campuses and came and put their support and arm around him, clearly.
Yes.
And fair enough. I mean, the thing is, I seriously doubt he was getting, paid directly money. He was just getting paid in influence and access. Whereas the Democrats, of course, liberals, we know that they just pay for people to speak
Well,
their
he had
stuff.
donors to his
Yeah,
organization,
but I'm
lots of
talking
them.
pure government
Um,
stuff is what I'm talking about.
oh yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I don't think there was anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he had a lot of donors. He had been in the last few months losing donors for some various reasons. And then, we'll get into it a little later, but apparently he started saying things that certain nation states don't like, and yeah, then all of a
Well,
sudden he catches a
don't
bullet
really
to the
care.
throat.
Could care less.
Mm,
But here's the thing, and we'll get into all of that. But you said something, offhandedly, sarcastically, or
mm.
sarcastically. And I want to talk about one of the things that with Charlie. We're going to talk about a lot of things with Charlie today. But I want to talk about one of the big things we're seeing come out of the liberals in specifically. It's the same playbook they do over and over again. But them making statements that Charlie was controversial.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I wanna stay on that for a second if you don't mind,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because I actually have watched many Charlie Kirk things, right?
Yep.
I'm quite familiar with Charlie, right? For a
Yep.
long time before he became this, when he was just starting to make noise and doing the Steven Crowder thing on campus, right? And you got to give it to him. And keep in mind, Steven does very similar things, and Steven is in some ways financially, and his system is a bit bigger than Charlie's. Well, although obviously we're seeing that's not true in a way. But also, it's a different thing with Steven. If this had happened to Steven, you would have nowhere near the response,
No.
right? Because
No.
Steven's a bit of an asshole, you see.
Yeah.
And back to my point about being controversial. I would like you, playing devil's advocate, to give me one example of him being controversial other than him being a Christian.
Controversial to me or controversial
No, no,
to a psycho
you are
communist
the
liberal?
devil's advocate. So
So I'm just Satan because
yes,
that's
you
what these
are.
people
That's
are,
right.
the servants of the devil.
Fair enough.
Um, I
Embodying.
could tell you, most of them. One of the big ones is he believed that he was a complete abortion absolutionist, meaning or he was completely against it. He didn't like it at all. He
Well,
didn't care what the circumstances
he's a
were.
Christian, so all right.
100% doesn't even matter if it's rape, whatever. I mean, he would, he could understand why a person would do that, but
Mhm.
he would say
Ah,
no, the baby should be brought to term.
hold on a second. Let's
Uh,
stop for 1 second before you continue on to the other
yeah,
things. So he is a Christian, therefore
yes,
he's of course against abortion,
yes,
obviously. But he also says, even though he himself would never do so, he
hmm,
says he understands why others do. Oh, okay. So
yeah,
he's an
correct,
understanding individual.
correct.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, continue your
Yeah.
devilry.
But from their position, that's just completely extreme. One of them, some young lady in a debate with him, asked if he would even, if his 10-year-old daughter got raped and somehow got pregnant from it, which has happened before.
Of course it has.
Uh, if he
It's
would
called
be
Islam.
okay with it, if he'd be okay with the abortion, then and he said no, the baby should be brought to term,
Yep.
and
A lot of people
that
agree with
just
that.
sends him into apoplexia. I agree with it too. I wouldn't, I couldn't advocate for it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I
But
can't
he's
advocate
not
for that.
telling her I'm going to make you do the same thing. Is he?
Right.
No.
I don't, not in that context of that. I don't
No,
believe he
he's
was, no.
answering her the question of what he would do, right?
Yes.
Because uh, you know, I've my point I'm trying to make here is I've watched a lot of Charlie Kirk. I've never
Hmm.
seen him demand anything from
No.
anybody.
Just, well, just dialogue.
It's
Not like, he
just
wouldn't let people.
debate.
Yeah, we wouldn't let people be openly disrespectful if he could avoid it.
Well, the only person I ever
But
saw him raise his voice to was Cenk Uygur, and fucking fair enough,
well, I
dude.
mean, yeah, Chunk's used to that by, and Chunk knows what he's doing. He's doing that on
He
purpose.
does.
He's an instigator. He's a shit stirrer.
He
And
is.
fair enough, he's really really good at it. I'll
He
give him
is.
credit. He's really good at it. But regardless, let's see what's another one. So abortion's a big one. He was against. I believe, now this could be, I could be wrong, but I believe he was against trans rights, quote unquote, which is a big thing that the lefties love. This concept of
Be more
everybody has a right.
specific, ye devil.
Yeah. I don't know. I genuinely don't have it more specific because I'd have to go and
Well,
see what he's actually said on
I
it. But
know that's
I
not
know that
true.
here's, let me say what they say.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
say
my
what they
what
say.
I'm asking you.
He's a transphobe, a homophobe, a racist, a bigot of every stripe, and an Islamophobe, which is amazing that the left still, for some reason, pretends to care about Islam. Uh, and what was the other one? I can't remember what the other one was, but he's basically all of these things, and basically it all boils down to they just don't like that he stands up to them.
Yeah,
If we're being honest,
and he's
that's
very
all it is.
effective. He's
Yeah.
a
Oh yeah. Yeah.
lightning
And
rod. is the main problem. But just to kind of cover those things real quick before we move on,
Mhm.
because I want to put this out here in the beginning, right? Um, trans rights, because like I said, I've listened to quite a bit of Charlie stuff, and I'm sure you guys listening have as well. But uh, he has no problem with trans people having rights at all. He has no
Mhm.
problem with homosexuals. Matter of fact, he became pretty friendly with Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is very upset about this situation, obviously, as we all are. But he's has nothing against it. What he doesn't like is messing with kids.
Yes.
And what's the point of having Title IX if you're going to let men and women's sports anyway? Is the take he had, right? He
Well,
has
you
no
can have
trouble
Title
with
IX, but
homosexuals. He's not hateful at all. Is my point. No matter what
no,
topic you try to bring up, he was not hateful. You see what they've done here is they have are vilified and continually vilifying, and of course, cause the death of the good guy. You see,
correct.
like I said, if
Yes, I
this
told you
happened.
this was coming.
Oh no, no, I wasn't a little innocent dipshit that didn't think so. But I'm just
They
saying,
tried to make it, Mr. President. God intervened in that case.
yeah.
I
But
mean, he just did.
let me,
For some reason, Charlie's time was up. The Lord decided, and that was it. But I think so far, as terrible as it is for his wife and his children and his friends, of course, so far it seems to be a positive force
well,
because I've never seen
yeah,
the so-called right wing this animated. Never. Not even
he's
when Trump got shot. Never seen it like
no,
this.
and that is a fair point. If they had succeeded, there would have been big trouble with Trump for
Yeah.
sure. But it wouldn't have had the
Oh yeah.
response because the thing is, although I think Trump's true motivation is America, I believe
Hmm.
that is true. He is Donald Trump. He's a very successful businessman. He'll ride the edge of it and he'll admit right to it, right? Same way I keep mentioning Stephen, not to bring any ill karma upon him, but Stephen wouldn't have had the same response. People have been pissed. It would have been a thing, but they killed the good guy because that's what Charlie was. He was a really good guy. He got in debates with people, so yelling and screaming hateful stuff at him, and he just smile and just and push forward and say what his opinion was, and try to argue with them. Most of the time successfully, sometimes not. I've seen him even convert a few people. And as time went on, the amount of people started coming to his things that were supporting him became more and more, to the point that the leftists found themselves incredibly outnumbered at his events. In the beginning, the first stuff I saw from Charlie, it was not that way, right?
Yep.
But he was a firebrand. He was a heat sink that drew people to him. And of course, speaking of it, here we have Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom March in Britain. Elon Musk spoke of it. Talk about a feather in the cap for Tommy. But and Nigel
Big deal for
Farage
Tommy.
needs, yeah, dude. Nigel needs to get over his trouble with Tommy Robinson. I'm telling you that right now. But here's the thing. Initially, the BBC and of course the British government announced there were 150,000, and then they lowered it down to 110,000. Well, people have gone and done their autistic shit that people do. Would you like to guess how many people actually marched in Britain for
Uh,
this?
all I know was a lot.
3 million.
Mm.
That
Hmm.
is an insane number from a little place. They came from all over Britain, including Ireland, not just Northern Ireland, but the Irish themselves showed up. Now, let me repeat that. The Irish showed up in London for this shit. That, if you know anything about history, that tells you a lot. But it wasn't just Britain. We had Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy. There was even some in Japan and Canada. And of course, another huge one in frickin' Korea, dude. Korea, which is a highly Christian country, let's be fair. Matter of fact, if you go to Seoul, one of the most prominent, beautiful landmarks is a gigantic cathedral. It's quite nice.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Need to build those again.
old
We need to commission
stone.
those again. Big
What?
giant cathedrals.
Yeah, that beautiful stonework and stuff like that, man. That much prettier than what we build in today. But of course,
Yeah.
more expensive because of we don't have those industries in place anymore, really. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, the response to this is wow, dude. I mean, wow, right?
Yeah.
Um, uh, I I'm a little bit surprised at how much outpouring of love and support for Charlie Kirk there is around the world. And it's a great thing, but it also shows you a lot of how the world feels right now and what's going on. That all these disparate places are connected, right? And in the London one was really interesting because Britain is a little different than America. We are the melting pot. But a lot of people who come to America, of their, legally, they want to be part of that American landscape, right? It's different than the migrants who just come in to make money off us or just illegally come in. But Britain has some of that migrant trouble, as all of Europe, because the Germans. But a lot of them come in and they do become a part of the British landscape, the tapestry of Britain, but they also keep a lot of their original culture with them. In America, you see less of that, right? And it was interesting to me to see how many of these BBC and Sky News and all these kind of lefty rags and TV channels over there in Britain going on about all these right wingers, all the racism, and just going off, right? Even though the crowd was packed full of every damn color you can imagine, right?
As it usually is. Yeah.
As it usually is. And of course, this brings me to a point. I know you have your own points, but I just kind of want to get mine out of the way if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Um, One of the things that's irritating me the most from the left speaking, because I'm quite used to it. We all are. I mean, they're idiots. We know this, but I don't think that excuse is good enough anymore. However, they keep calling him a hateful white supremacist. Now, no, they do. They do.
I know they do. I know it's hilarious.
The
It's
homophobia,
funny.
all that stuff, even though that's not true, I kind of get it because he is a Christian. But a
Mhm.
hateful white supremacist. Now, if you've even just watched one of Charlie Kirk's video, just bother to watch one, um, you know that's ridiculous. First of all, he's not hateful at all. Even the South Park guys who are, dickheads, didn't make that joke, right?
But they're
Um,
always dickheads, so it's fine.
That's fine, but I mean, they but they
Consistent.
they they want to exaggerate things, and they didn't touch that because it's not his character. And of course,
Yeah.
the white supremacy thing is you do realize he's never made even a single comment about race.
Well, here's where that comes from. Well, besides the fact that that's their normal
I know,
smear.
but I mean, he's
Uh,
never made that's not his thing. It's not his shtick, dude.
during that because I don't know if you've seen these videos. I'm sure you have, where they have one guy of a certain viewpoint, and then a whole bunch of younger people typically come and try to debate him
Yeah,
at one, like in a speed dating type situation, but it's
sure.
debate. And
Just it's
there's
Steven
the
Crowder
video of
changed
that.
my mind. Steven Crowder did this. He
Well,
started that.
hang on. There's a video of that, and basically, at one point, he says something to the effect of that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake or was bad for black people, something to that effect. What they hear, because their brains are completely addled with bullshit, he thinks that black people deserve to be second class citizens, which is not what he was saying. He was saying, which is very clear in the data, that by every metric except one, Black America was better before the Civil Rights Act. They had a better marriage rate, they had better family rates, they had
Yeah,
less divorce rates,
well,
they
that's
had better
true.
education, they had better, I mean, everything. The only thing they have now is they make more money now, but everybody makes more money now.
But
So that's
how
not
is
really
that?
a
How is that
thing.
racism, though?
Because anytime anybody says anything that even remotely sounds disparaging to modern black or brown people, the left will call them racist.
That's not
Even if what they're
disparaging. That's
saying is
sympathy.
completely true. Exactly. That's how fucked their brain is. because they don't want your sympathy, they don't want your pity, they want nothing but worship. You must worship the Negro. That's their position. They won't say it, but that's their position. That's how they behave. If you do not worship these people as if they are something heavenly, you are a sinner. You are a
Okay.
racist. It's the same label.
All
Same
right.
label. And that's what he did. And so they immediately go from that to, well, he obviously just hates black people.
Oh,
Clearly. I
that's
mean, obviously,
stupid.
right?
That's stupid. I mean,
Yeah,
if you listen, and this is the problem. All these little morons that are coming out losing their jobs, which it shows you because the corporate America and the corporate world has been shifting since Trump. We see that because these people care about money. They don't really care about ideology. But you've seen this shift is already has been coming. However, boy, howdy, how quick they responded to firing these people. They instantly realized, oh no, 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 this is different. We can't play any games here, and good on them for
yeah,
that. But I've just seen so many of these idiots that get up there giving statements about how horrible and hateful and racist and disgusting and supremacist that Charlie Kirk was, and it's like, well, obviously you've not seen a single video, not even one. Not even one. Because if you watch a single video with Charlie Kirk, just anywhere, randomly, I don't care which one, you will know he is none of those things. Now, you might disagree with his religious point of view, you might disagree with his opinions, but at the same time, he's not telling you, I demand you do something. That's not what he does.
right.
It's just not what he does. But they killed the good guy, dude. And boy, I hope they pay for it. I hope they do.
Well, so far, a lot of them seem to be.
Yeah, but losing their jobs and stuff, is it going to really matter when most of them are just part-time workers anyway? And a lot of these people don't even have jobs. Keep in mind, most of these Antifa, because this kid who killed him is an Antifa kid, right?
Right.
And most of them are middle class, upper middle class kids who just don't have a job and never have. And he's
Mhm.
exactly that, precisely that. What you have with this idiot is he was a confused little gay boy, is what it was. And his family is staunch Mormon, Republican, conservative people. But he's, either he was gay from his younger years or he got radicalized in university. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But he's very confused, probably self flagellating gay guy, and he got caught up with people that were supportive of his gayness, and they just happened to be Antifa. And that's the reality of it. It's unfortunate and it's sad, but that's the problem we have. Not only with these universities being plague centers, but just the allowance of things like Black Bloc and Antifa and Black Lives Matter and various things like it to continue to exist, because we keep saying, well, you're allowed to protest in America. Yes, but you're missing a very important word in the Constitution. It
Mm.
says peacefully protest. And
Mhm.
understand, protesting in a street is not peaceful. Protesting at the door of something and keeping people from going in is not constitutional. Matter of fact, if you think about how the unions got themselves in a lot of trouble way back when, is because they would block scabs from coming in to do the job, right? That's
Right.
unconstitutional, right? You're not allowed to sit in streets. You're not allowed to block doors. You're certainly not allowed to break shit, to set things on fire. All of this is unconstitutional and illegal. And I don't understand why we have so many places around the country that just allow it to continue. Portland being a perfect example. They have been besieging that ICE building for what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks now,
Mhm.
maybe more. Why aren't they all arrested? What they're doing is illegal. That's not peaceful protest. That's not their right. They are rioters. They are assaulting. Why are they not arrested? Why?
It's a good question.
Yeah. But
I don't have a
I
good answer for it,
has
unfortunately.
has Trump quantified Antifa as a terrorist group yet?
I don't believe so. He should.
He
I don't
should
know
get
why
on
he
that
hasn't.
right now. Yeah. Black
Yeah,
Bloc, Antifa, BLM. BLM already is a terrorist group. I'm pretty sure they've been labeled that way. I think Biden's administration labeled them that way, or maybe Trump's first one. I'm not sure, but I think
me
BLM
neither.
was labeled a terrorist group, but Antifa most certainly needs to be. However, the unhingedness that is going on shows me one very clear thing. This isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. Therefore, what do we do about it?
Oh, you know my answer.
Yeah.
You know my answer.
I mean, the country's being real quiet now. To be fair, the foreigners are being more openly, boisterous. The Americans are
Yep.
being pretty quiet. They're just going to vigils. I know today, there were probably thousands of little vigils across America, some of them quite large. I bet you those churches saw people they didn't even know existed in their communities show up,
Right.
right?
Yeah, probably.
But the Americans are kind of being quiet. I don't think that's going to stay that way. Do
No.
you?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. So what do you think's
Probably
going to
not.
come out of this? What kind of response are we going to see from the Americans? Because honestly, the American right, the conservatives, because conservatives conserve,
Mhm.
but it's the in the
Mhm.
definition. But there is a point where things just that's enough of that.
Mhm.
And I are we here?
I want to say yes, but that's only because I've been there for yeah, no, a decade at least. I don't know. Like I said, I really want to say yes, but I truly, truly don't know. We need to be. The reality of our situation is it's not going to get better until, well, maybe never in our lifetimes, to be honest. But we have to just accept reality for what it is and get to work. There has been a revolution that's been going on in this country since at least the 60s, probably longer, and it almost has succeeded in its goal. It's gotten very close.
Yeah, no, this
It
it's
might,
definitely been since the 60s, 70s when they started coming after us economically. But yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
it might even be too late. But so what? So okay, we just roll over and die. No, when a man like Mr. Kirk, who by all accounts never did anything wrong, you've never heard of a scandal with him, maybe about other people in his organization, okay, fine, but not with him. I've never heard anything, and
Well,
I'm
yeah, what was the
wired
name of
into
his
this
group?
part of the Turning Point
Turning
USA.
Point USA.
Uh,
That's right. Yeah.
I'm wired into that part of the internet pretty heavily, and I've never heard a single, where he was screwing around or anything like that from
No,
him.
no.
Never. And
They killed the good guy.
yeah, they
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 did.
they hit the white hat.
They
And now,
did.
Chester, you see, you ask the question, what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Even my wife was sad about this, and she's about as apolitical as you can get for the most part. There are millions of young women, young wives, who are the same because
Sure.
that could have been their husband.
It
He's
could
just
have
a
been.
normal guy who was nice and kind and had a great family who he clearly adored and clearly adored him, and they murdered him in cold blood right in front of him
Yeah.
for
And
speaking.
they did. And of course, he and his wife Erica's and of course his kids, but they're just little. Their love story is a nice one. It's a nice legitimate little American love story. And he's not like, once again, I keep using poor Steven, but Steven Crowder, that's a guy that was bopping around with other girls. Of course, he's divorced now, so he can freely do so, but he was doing that anyway because
Yeah,
that's his nature. Charlie is not that guy. He's
no,
a good guy, or was. And yeah, this is a major mistake. And of course, with the idiots on the internet, just yelling and screaming, they don't know anything about Charlie Kirk. They never watch. They know nothing. They just listen and repeat and say horrible, nasty things. Little stupid little girls mostly, but occasionally you get these idiot soy boys. But they have less influence than, say, Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren from
But
Massachusetts. Did you hear what
to
she said?
no, I did not. But to answer your question, what happens now? It looks like, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like what I've been saying needs to happen is going to happen. They had the nice guys. Even Trump's a nice guy. He tries to be nice to
Comparatively.
these people. They genuinely don't understand that Charlie is a centrist. He's a right-wing centrist.
Yeah, yeah, he
They don't
was.
even understand that there are tens of millions of Americans, many of them very young, who are much further right than he ever would have even condoned. Much further right. They
Sure.
don't understand that he was actually one of the organizations gatekeeping these people from getting to a different level, getting to a level above to where they've been in these corners, pushed off to the side, and they've been growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
But people like Charlie, because of who he was, now I don't think he was doing it necessarily intentionally. It's just the effect he had was basically a dam keeping them back. And now they've shown everyone that they're evil monsters. So
Yeah.
what happens when the monsters come, Chester? What has to happen if civilization is going to survive? You got to make a choice.
Yeah.
Civilization, society.
Hmm.
Do you want to deal with the monster and let it ravage you and destroy all that is good, or do you maybe turn to some people who, you know, not so savory, but at least they're not going to destroy you?
Well, the
Maybe
sad
you turn to the bastards to
right.
handle the monsters.
The sad
It's
thing
what always
is
has to happen.
history tells us the monster usually wins.
Hmm.
That's the reality. When you look at so
Well,
many of
wins
the
for a while.
revolution, I understand your point, but if you look at most of revolution throughout history, it's the Antifa people that start the revolution and win it and go on to kill a lot of people, and eventually they do get wiped out and it gets overturned. Sure, the Soviet Union is a perfect example of that, but that lasted what, 80 years?
Well, that's because we kept propping them up. But yes,
That's fair,
uh,
but I'm just saying. Nepal has been a
regardless,
communist place for a while, and that just fell down. So it does fall down. But I'm just saying that
yeah.
usually the monsters win, dude. When you have an
Well, they've already won.
example, yeah, but you're right. And I can give you a perfect analogy of this. If you go outside in the world today and you ask any person on any country that's not American, and you ask them just name the first revolution that comes to your mind, do you know what they're going to say?
China?
No, France,
No.
the
Oh
French
yeah, probably yeah.
Revolution.
French. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now let's analyze that for a second, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
The French Revolution was an absolute was a socialist revolt, is what it was,
That's right. Yes.
and it was absolutely barbaric. We
Yep.
don't even know how many
Savagery.
people died.
Yep.
It was so brutal. In the end, Robespierre, who is one of the initial, most loudest instigators, did die badly. But everyone talks about the French Revolution as being the quintessential revolution, even though it was a complete and utter failure of socialism. However, we do have a better example of revolution led by people who weren't socialists, who are actual, real life patriots. Do you know where that is?
America?
Yeah, America. That was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
that was a
That was a that was
redundant.
a that was a toss up. That was just
No,
right,
no. I
a little
I I,
underhand.
I was
Um,
that was a soft
yeah,
pitch. Yeah,
softball.
yeah.
Um, yes, you're correct. Here's the takeaway though. You on top of the French Revolution. What happened? What did that lead to? Who did that lead to? In fact,
Napoleon.
Francis Caesar, Napoleon, one of
Hmm.
the greatest men to ever live, one of the most brilliant tacticians to ever live, ever. That's not even debatable.
Also a bit of a dick, though.
A total dick, a complete bastard, Chester, a complete
Absolute
bastard
bastard.
man.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is they've already won for about 60 years, give or take.
Yeah.
They've been dominant. They've dominated everything. They've dominated. I mean, this idea that the Republicans and the Democrats were different is total bullshit. If you go back and up until very recently, if you go back and look at the voting patterns, aside from a few domestic issues here or there, they were
No.
lockstep when it came
Yeah.
to foreign policy,
Because they're
economic policy.
Americans.
Because they're communists, Chester. They were
Yes,
infiltrated a long time ago. If
it's true.
McCarthy had been allowed to do his job
Yeah,
back in the day, we wouldn't be where we are. But he wasn't because a whole bunch of Karens got upset and started crying that he's being too mean. What about liberty? What
yeah.
about it?
Well,
What about it?
this is the problem with humanity. You just hit on the absolute center of any philosophy. Because any philosophy, what's the point of philosophy? To understand the human condition and try to improve it, right? That's the whole point of
Yes.
philosophy. And you just hit the nail. Jordan Peterson would be quite proud of you
Hmm.
because the problem with humanity is the men, but in
Yeah,
a way that you wouldn't imagine. It's because we don't say no to the women enough.
correct.
We give,
Literally,
yeah,
besides creation itself in the Bible, the first story is a man cucking to his woman
damn
over
right.
God.
That's
Over
right.
God
That's
himself.
right.
What are we doing, men?
That's right.
Just say no to these bitches sometimes. Just say
Li-
no. That's all.
a little
Just
bit
say
of
no.
wisdom in there, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oddly, yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting how these religious books don't really it isn't important that you believe in God. It has nothing to do with it.
No, no. The
Not really.
philosophy of that story
Yeah,
is he chose his woman over his
yeah,
own creator.
that's right.
The point
And
is we will choose the women to our detriment.
we do.
Don't do that.
We do it
Don't do
over and
that.
over. We do it over and
Yes.
over. And that's the problem with it. So the only time you have good situations is when the women are like, hey, hold on a second. Family's important.
Yes.
We need to do this and this and this and that to be successful. When the women make a decision in that way, which the pendulum is always swinging, society is better. It's not men that do it. We build it, we maintain it, but we also always
I
submit
would
to the
say
mother.
but the mother submits to the husband, and what I mean by that is when the men set a certain enough of them set a standard that this is how we're going to do society,
Yeah.
the women will eventually come
They
along
will,
with that.
and that's that. But as long as they agree, then things are good. But as soon as the
Yes.
women decide, "Nah, we're not doing that anymore," you get what you got, right?
Yes. And I
But
think we're in a situation now where there's
yeah,
enough young men, young
I think so.
husbands who are saying, "No, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this hedonistic bullshit anymore. We're just not. It's
Yeah,
done. We don't even want to date you because you're hoarse, or we just assume you are because so many of you are now that
right.
it's a safer bet than risking catching gonorrhea. I don't want gonorrhea.
Well,
I'm good on gonorrhea or
syphilis.
syphilis or any of them. I don't want any of them. Thank you. I'd like
Yeah.
to have none on my penis. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Well, no,
Um,
and of course, this is something that the women have created once again coming out of the 60s. Burn them
yes,
bras. Isn't that amazing that now that we know from, anatomy, understanding of life and, our medicine has improved in many ways, that actually a woman wearing a bra is better for her because as she gets older, her breasts will sag less. So
it's
it
also
turns
good for their
out
back.
it is, but it turns out that bras are a good thing. But they burned them. They
We
burned them.
weren't. They didn't get. Here's the thing that so many of these feminists, and let's just call them what they are, demons, do is they take things that men have created at the behest of women and take that part out and then be like, see, this is oppressive. You made that for women. Yeah, because you asked us to. Nobody asked for that. What? It's gaslighting. Do
It
you think
is.
men really walked around and be like, we got to get these boobies up? We're going to make bras so their boobies get up. No, women wanted that.
No,
It comes from all the bustiers and all these other things.
that's
That's
right.
where it came from. It had nothing to do with sexual desire at first. Then men were like, wait a minute. I kind of like that. Let's see what we can do here. That's how everything happens when it
It's
comes to the
always
sexual
that way.
dynamics.
It comes down to,
Always.
yeah, it's always true. But of course, it's led us to the situation now where men trying to appease women, and we've gotten to a point that's really, really bad.
Yep.
And it needs to shift back, and we are seeing a shift, but we have lost a generation, maybe even a generation and a half. We have.
Yes.
We have lost. The millennials are lost. I'm
My
sorry
my
to tell you.
generation is completely lost. Yes,
They
I know.
are.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm in it with them. I understand. I've been trying like some sort of Sisyphean task to stop this tide of retardedness in my generation, but it's an amazing combination of boomer arrogance and and whatever the millennial malaise is that we all seem to have, where we're arrogant, right? Very arrogant people, the millennial, for some reason.
Yeah.
But then we also don't seem to care about other people.
Yeah.
Like, usually arrogant people will at least pretend to care because it makes them look good, right? It makes them look good that if they blah blah blah, that's how they get. No. This is a weird form of like super conceitedness that
Yeah. No,
they're so everything that
that
okay,
is a
you know everything.
that
You
is
know
a
everything.
fair point, and we are talking politically today. But
Mm,
it goes beyond that. I mean, just looking at these police cam things that we watch and other little news reports and just the general, state of things, the attitude coming out of these people is insane. They have no respect for anything whatsoever. They are
yeah.
argumentative. They're violent. Their first thought is to go to violence. It's one of these weird things because you kind of feel bad for the cops, and this, and at the same time, remember, oh, it's a cop. They're not your friend. They're not there for you anyway. But then you feel bad for them having to deal with that dumbass shit. But the level of entitlement, this toxic, rabid entitlement. I mean, we all carry a little bit with us. I mean, I certainly have some ego involved in things, but at the same time, I do also constantly try to check my ego. I'm
Yes.
aware, and
Yes.
therefore I know what the problems I can have within myself, and I try to check it, and I try to, for my own good and that of my family and the people around me. And here's the problem: no, there are no check valves on these people whatsoever, none.
That's right. No
Society,
shame.
no shame.
None.
Etiquette means nothing. Culture means nothing. Therefore, the problem is, how do we get a valve back on that? Is the question.
We shame the shit out of them. We shame them in places where they do care. And if that doesn't work, we throw them in cages for their antisocial behavior until they're ready to be social. This isn't new. We
No,
know how to solve these problems. Nobody
we
just
do.
wants to do it. Trump's been talking about it, bringing back insane asylums. That's one way.
Yep.
Uh, but no, you throw them in a cage, or you bring back public flogging
Can we
until they're
bring
ready to
back the
behave.
stocks?
Yeah, why not? It worked. You can't say it didn't work.
Mm.
The European peoples used to be incredibly violent, incredibly dangerous. Their entire civilization was built by bandits and brigands. It just is what it is. But you know how they got rid of it? They shamed the shit out of generations and generations and generations, and they killed them if they had to. They just completely cut that part of the gene pool in half, and then just kept cutting until it was no longer. Whether they did it through just not being very good at farming, or if they did it through other means, uh, that's how you get rid of it.
I
It's just the truth.
My
You you
hands up.
have to
I have my
you have
hand
to
up.
call these people somehow.
I
Go
know
ahead.
my hands up.
Mhm.
I personally would prefer not to go through a Catholic purge again.
Well, I would too. I don't think it was beneficial, at least during, but it led to the greatest expansion of human knowledge since Roman
Well,
times
the
or
rebellion
pre-Roman
of
times.
it.
Yes. Uh, I think we can skip all of that if we just find our balls again and let the bastards do what they do.
Because here, yeah,
The bastard men are the disinfectant of civilization. That 5% or so of people, it's not just men, but it's mostly men, that are just belligerent to everything. Now they're not antisocial. They're perfectly fine living in society. They can get along, blah 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 blah. But they're not going to bend the knee to you no matter what.
no,
Those are the people who came to
the
America
people that
and built it.
make a decision on what is right and what is wrong.
The
And
people of
yeah,
conviction.
yeah,
There are very
that's
few
right.
people. See, this is the problem. We fell into the devil's trap. The devil's smarter than us, guys. He can out logic us, he can out argue us, he can out reason us. He will beat us at that game. The reason why God, or any religion really, tells you to have faith is because you can't out argue faith. You can't logic your way away from faith.
Yeah,
You can't reason away from faith. If you have actual conviction, that's going to be the word of the day. Conviction, nothing can make you waver. Nothing.
yeah.
That is
That's a
what the
good one, Alan.
bastards are.
That's a good
They
one.
have great conviction. It doesn't even matter if they know they're wrong at some level factually. It doesn't matter. Facts change. That's where you have to be. You have to turn society over to those type of people who are willing to do what you're not willing to do because they know they don't think. No, no. They know They're correct. They
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what they're doing is righteous. And because of that, they're able to do things you would never, most normal people simply could not do. Most normal people couldn't be hangmen. Most normal people couldn't be executioners. Most normal people couldn't be these things. But I'm telling you, that's what we need. I'm not saying we have to go kill these people. I'm being hyperbolic, but we need people who are willing to be bastards, to be bad people on the surface, insofar as they're not nice, because we've allowed society to
yeah,
turn the word nice into a good thing. Being nice
yeah.
isn't a good thing. It means you're a liar and a coward if you're
I,
nice. That's what it
I
always meant.
I would rather use the word accommodating.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's say in the end of the day, we're splitting hairs. But yes, I
Yeah,
think what we need to be is good. Be good.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
respectful. Have
Well,
manners. Have etiquette. Treat people with dignity. That isn't being nice. Sometimes when to do that is to tell them things they don't want to hear.
yeah. Well, no, and we talked about a second ago the Protestant Reformation, and that's another example of a rebellion that stood up against, evil.
Yeah,
And now, to be fair, it was sponsored and backed by a bunch of rich German guys who were looking out for their own self-interest. Fair enough. And a lot of people suffered really badly. We don't know how many people died in that. A lot of people
we
did,
don't.
and they died in the worst. The Catholics were with their little. The You wonder why we hate the French, right?
Oh, I don't wonder.
I'm just saying that is not a new thing. It's a long,
No.
long road because,
Yeah.
fair enough to Charlemagne and what he accomplished. I'm not going to take that away from him. But the French have been the arm and sword of the Catholic Church for a very long time. And the amount of abominations and just torture and brutal murder that they brought on anyone who disagrees was is quite shocking in its totality. And the Protestants, they didn't win that by winning, right? They won that
Yeah.
by dying.
Yeah.
And
True.
of course, through that,
Well, they also
this
had them. They also eventually came here,
well,
got to
that was
America.
the escape. Like I said, they didn't win that by winning; they escaped
No.
or died.
Mhm.
And of course, then the Protestants went on to create the Industrial Revolution, which
That's right.
brought us to where we are today. But that is an
But
example of a righteous revolution. Uh,
a
um,
lot of
you
people
know,
have made the correlation between modern America and Rome. We've done it, and it's true. America is the new Rome.
sure,
We might be closer than we think, though, to being Imperial France. And what I mean by that is, if a French Revolution style event happens, which I personally think it already did, it just did it slower instead of all at once. You get, instead of a Caesar, you get a Napoleon, and which is basically the same thing in function, trying to, a conqueror. Um,
right,
I don't know. I don't know which one we're going to get or if we get something totally new, but what I do believe is that we're closer to Rome. I think we're real close to our Caesarean figure. I just do. I think the right's ready for it. I think a lot of normal people are ready for it. The one of the only things that Trump has extremely positive approval on is his stance on crime and how tough he has been on crime. That tells me that the people want a stronger hand, want a more authoritative hand,
right,
um, and that would be a Caesarean-like figure.
yeah,
The only issue would be, of course, is if he is exactly
that
like
is true,
Caesar and
Alan.
refuses to relinquish power, uh, is what it is. But I do think that's where we're heading. A lot of people have made the prediction that Trump might be the last president as we understand it anyway. That's very possible. It'll really just depend if society is ready. And this has been the only thing holding it back, because I've been saying this the whole time I've been on here. I've been saying this for 15 years or so. Once society is ready, and it might never get there, it could South Africa our ass, we could. But once society is ready to handle this business, what they're going to do is what they did in Germany with the Weimar Republic. They're going to hand over the keys to some bastards and say, fix it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to fix it because the Nazis did. They did fix it.
They did.
Now, they went way too far the other way with it, but for a while they fixed it. Weimar was a disaster. Nobody would want to live there.
No, no.
And the Nazis
Yeah,
came in and stabilized it and
they did.
corrected it, and they did it brutally. But I'm telling you, I'm not advocating for Nazis or Nazism. I think that shit's retarded. What I'm saying is that effect is what's happening today. The
No, they had
people
a,
have
a good
had
5 day
enough.
year run. They had a good 5 to
Yeah.
8 year run, depending on how you look at it. But no, you're right. And then it just got out of control. But to be fair, the getting out of control part, they did not initiate. It was initiated by others, particularly the British. Don't
Mhm.
believe the hype, dude. Right?
No,
Now,
no,
in
you're
the
correct.
end, with the way they were fighting and some of the stuff they did to the Polish, and of course the ultimate, killing of those who were unworthy, and of course that included Jews. But
Mhm.
it got way out of control and it was bad. But the initial response was good, and we don't want that again, of course. Uh, but
No,
um, but
bastards are coming. They are
yeah,
coming. Hopefully, it's not too late, and hope because here's what happened with Germany: the Hitlers and all his goons. They were what the people wanted and what the people needed at the time by the fact that they had overwhelming support for a very long time because the it had gone so far. I don't think we're anywhere near as far as Weimar was down the old rabbit hole. I think we still have a lot of one. We're still the most powerful country in the world. We have a lot of benefits, a lot of pluses still to this day, even though it's a lot lesser than it was even 30 years ago in America overall. And I do think we're seeing a cultural shift away
yeah.
from hedonism, away from this
Well,
leftist craziness, just back towards normalcy and sanity, not just in America, but globally. So I don't think we're going to go down a Nazi-like fascist path. I just really don't. What I do think we're
well,
going to go down is a much more imperial monarchistic path,
Well, the difference
if I'm
between
honest.
us, yeah, it's possible. The difference between us is we are 50 individual countries in a federation.
Right,
That's a
right.
major important difference. And Alan said he'd be right back, which is unfortunate because I'm going to respond to his. Charlemagne would have hated the French today, frankly. No, Charlemagne would have been in the street, filling the streets with the blood of Saracens, is what he would have
Yes,
been doing.
yes. There
Yeah,
would be a lot of brown uh, heretics, pagans, they would have called them.
Saracens, yeah,
Yeah,
pagans.
killed dead in the middle of that in the middle of France right now. Paris would be a total you wouldn't even recognize it because it'd
Yeah,
be covered with blood
yeah.
if Charlemagne was around.
Do understand that word Muslim is a very modern creation, right?
Yes. Yes, the
And
Saracens.
understand it's a the
Which
actual
Saracen's a
Mus.
much better word.
It
Saracen.
is such
That
better.
sounds so cool.
There's so many better words of old. But what you know as Islam today is really only has only about 500 years of history, really, right?
Mhm.
In its totality. And of course, I'm not going to get into that conversation. But anyway, um,
And I'm gonna be
Charlie.
completely honest with you, Chester.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I've been open about that. I've been saying this is what's coming, and I've been saying once it happens, if it gets to the point where things get real nasty, I know what side I'm gonna be on. But at the end of the day, I'd prefer it didn't. I really don't want to watch the greatest country in the world destroy itself to try and save itself. But if
they've
that's what
been.
has to happen, then
That's what.
that's what has to happen.
But keep in mind that this is an important thing to remember. And conspiracy theories be damned. All
Hmm.
right. There's a banking consortium in Europe.
Yes.
We call them many things over the years. George Washington would have called them the Illuminati.
Hmm.
Today they call themselves the Bilderberg Group, unless they've changed it. They might well have changed it recently. Um,
Rebrand.
they do it all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, they own most of your Democratic politicians and some of your Republican ones too.
Yep.
And this is part of their globalist agenda. America is a problem because too many people, meaning all Americans, have guns and are allowed to have them. And you can't tell people who have guns what to do when they have, the gun. So they've been, and that's why you see so much push in regards to this. So what they've been doing is they're been trying for quite a while to create such discourse in America that it falls into civil war. They want this. They've been promoting this. This is their goal. So the problem with the situation we have is we are near to some kind of action, but if we fall into chaos, then they win 100% because that is what they want. This is not a conspiracy theory. There are so many books written by these banker families about their
Yes.
plan. This is the thing. They don't it isn't secret. They don't hide it. You can go read
No,
these
it's
books.
no. Yeah, it's not off. It's very easy to find. In fact, it's not even hard
Yeah,
to find. Uh, the one that Alex Jones always cites is "None Dare Call It a Conspiracy," which cites all of the different writings and white papers and things of these
yeah,
people.
right.
For example, I think you can find that book on Amazon. I could be wrong though.
Dude, it's
But
over
regardless,
150 years of this. This is not new.
yes, regardless, I don't know if I fully agree. Now, it is what they want, and they
It
do
is what they
believe they'll
want.
win
Yeah.
in the end. But I don't think they will. And I'll tell you why I don't think they will. I believe in the American people. This is the people who, against all odds, our ancestors and even us today, carved out a continent that was largely untouched, or at least supposedly untouched. This was a people that took a wilderness and turned it into the most powerful empire the world has ever seen. This is a people that allegedly made it to the moon, touched down on the moon, and then came home safely.
Yeah.
I believe in those people much more than I believe in the darkness in the hearts of these bankers. Because if it wasn't for the fact that they're so terrified of us and of Christians broadly, as you know, uh, they would have had everything they wanted. The fact that they're that afraid, the fact that they don't come in with boots on our neck directly, tells me that they know they can't. They
No,
know
they
they're
don't
not
have that.
guaranteed to win.
They
Yeah,
have to lie to us and
right.
get us to do what they want.
Because the
And
truth of the matter is, they serve the devil. Whatever you want to believe the devil is, whether you believe it's a physical entity, spiritual entity, or just a concept, they serve it. They serve the concept of evil. And most of them at the top know they do. They're perfectly fine with it because they
mm,
want power. Um, these people know who their master is. The problem is one of the great tragedies you mentioned it earlier is yes, the monster usually does get the goose. He usually does win.
yeah,
But what does that end up being? In the end, the monster destroys itself.
usually.
Always.
Yeah.
Evil always consumes itself,
But it's a
and
painful time for
but it
everyone.
hurts.
Yeah.
The difference we have here, and the reason why the American people are such a problem, isn't just because they're Christian. Europeans are Christian too. Koreans are Christian too. Isn't just because they're of a certain ethnicity. Nope, that's not it either. The
No.
reason the American people are a problem is because we, for whatever reason, refuse to kneel.
Yeah.
It's just in us. Real Americans
That's
don't kneel.
true.
I
That's
would
true.
you couldn't there is the I didn't even get on my knee for my wife. I'm like, no, I kneel it. What kneel? No, I'm just kidding. But my point is, we don't do that.
No.
That's the difference. We're belligerent. We're not antisocial. We're personable, we're nice, we're kind, we're charitable. But as soon as you get that tone, we've all heard it, that tone, like you're gonna do what I say, cuck, basically is what you're saying to me. Well, then it's cracking some neck. Then some knuckles is getting cracked. Like I bet I ain't. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to make me. And they can't. So the fact that they know that America is a problem tells me that they're not unbeatable. The fact that
Yeah,
the
no.
culture
Yeah.
around the world, all over the world, all at once has shifted away from globalism back to nationalism harder than I guarantee you they expected. There's no way they expected this. Um, that tells me that they're not unbeatable.
Yeah.
They're still
Now,
humans at the end of the day.
that refusing to kneel thing is built into the American, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I have a good example of that over here. Usually when a priest comes in, they tend to bow quite deeply, but high-level priests, they will actually get in seiza, which is, their legs underneath them on, kneeling on the ground, and they'll put their
Hmm.
head on the floor, right? Is what
Yep.
they do. It's this complete capitulation to this higher power type of thing. And I
Hmm.
remember I wasn't here very long. It was only a few years after I got here. Some priest came in for something, and there was a whole bunch of people, and they all did that, the entire room. And of course, I didn't. And my wife kind of looked up to me as in to beg me to do the same. And I chuckled and just walk.
That's what I'd have done too.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, no, I'm not doing
no.
that. I'm
Instead,
not
what
doing
I
that.
did was walk over and shook his hand.
Yeah.
And later on, with that guy, I ended up creating a friendship with him because he does love history like I do, and I wanted to learn more about the history and the details of Buddhism, which I knew little about. So we exchanged the data over years and years and years. Yeah, no, we Americans, it is built into us. We do not kneel.
Yeah.
even if it
Like,
means our life. It's
as
weird.
Alan said right here, Zod can eat my ass.
Yeah,
The
fuck
reason
Zod.
why Kneel Before Zod is so perfect because I know they've tried to change this, but America, or I'm sorry, Superman's an American
Hmm.
first and foremost. Well, he's actually a Christian, but they've completely erased that. He's a Christian
Well, he's
American first and
Moses,
foremost.
for fuck's sake, man.
Uh, and because of that, he's not going to kneel before anybody. So the fact that they put this, I mean, he would do it to save someone's life, of course. But the fact that they put this character who demands it is so brilliant because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's such an anti-American position.
It
And of
ires the
course every American's
American.
like, "Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Mm-mm.
Hell no. Yeah.
Uh-uh."
Yeah. No, because we'll be belligerent unto death and foolishness. We are.
Yes. Yes.
For
But
100%
it's
sure.
how that's how you conquer a continent. That's how you carve out civilization. Every like I said earlier, Europe and really all civilizations, but especially Europe, was not founded by the best of us. It wasn't a bunch of good men who decided to come together and build these civilizations. These were the best and most efficient killers. These were monsters by every definition we would have today. Now, in their time, they might have been the better option, but compared to anything we could go going now, these would make even the most hardened terrorist look like a playground.
Well,
These
yeah.
people were
Just,
bad motherfuckers
yeah.
to their core. So what they did is they were like, you know what? Maybe we should stop killing each other because it's kind of getting ridiculous. Maybe we should come
Yeah.
up with some rules about how to handle these things without putting blades in our throats. And they're like, I like that idea. And that's where law came from. It was just over time. It just built it on top of, it's hard, it's expensive killing each other all the time.
It is.
That's really it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the secret. It was a bunch of very bad people who decided it was better to keep what they had, keep their treasure as they had it, than go try and kill everybody else and potentially lose everything.
Well,
So they came up with rules and laws, as we call them, so they didn't have to do that. They could settle disputes other ways,
you know
and
where
that's
that
it.
came from, really.
Mhm.
Is because, like I said, what happened during the Younger Dryas events and the ice age that ensued and all that kind of stuff is still up
Mhm.
in the air, although there's been great progress on this in the past decade or so. However, what we do know is this: when it started getting warmer, um, and about 10,000, 9,000 years ago, and humans started moving around again. What we found with the white people, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about Caucasians. I'm talking about the whites, right?
Yep.
There were basically two groups of them, right? There was these Western European Celtic, we call them Celts, but we should probably call them Gauls or Gaels, right? We had that
Right.
group, and they were ensconced, and they were quite, community based, and they were their thing, right? They were doing their thing. They were much more civilized. But then over in Mongolia in the Altai Mountains, you had these absolute frickin' barbarians
Mhm.
that were giants and tended to have blonde and red hair and blue eyes, green eyes, and they rode horses, for which shocks me. That what kind of horse can you find that a damn Scandinavian giant can ride? But they did, and
Clydesdales?
they must have been gigantic, and
Yep.
they would go back and forth following those reindeer herds for thousands of years. And along the
Mhm.
way they were like, hey, let's invent some stuff to make this easy. The chariots were made, wagons. They came up with
Yep.
all kind of inventions because they were living harsh nomadic lives.
That's
Harsh.
right.
And then
Tough sons
these
of bitches.
tough sons of bitches. Now there's a gap right there around the Black Sea and the Caspian that kind of drops right down in the Middle East. Nice little
Yep.
gap. And eventually some of them started probing that gap. Little war bands and stuff because they were fighting against each other all the time. And they came down and like, wow, look at these farmers. They got little
Mhm.
cities. It's kind of nice. Let's take their shit. So they did.
Let's just take. We have that. We'll be having that.
Yeah.
Snatch.
And little by little, instead of just rating them, they were like, well, these people are soft and weak, and they always show their underbellies to us. Why don't we just become the boss, man?
Yep.
Right?
We'll just
Now,
have that.
eventually, that rulership, that's why the ancient rulers and gods, whatever you want to call them, are always white, blue-eyed, blonde people. That's why.
Right.
right? It's these nomads, these brutal barbarians that ended up coming down, settling down, and becoming kings. And eventually, that became so powerful that you had a giant group of them to the north. The Scythians is what we call them, anthropologically, and they had a great leader. His name was Woden or Odin. Isn't that interesting? Right? Uh,
Whoa.
and he was like, "Well, we keep battling and raiding them, but it's tiresome and troublesome. And there's some mountains and stuff here, and it's kind of annoying. But to the west, we've scouted it, and we know there's some good territory over there." And they came
Mhm.
in, they dropped in, of course, what we call Germania today, and eventually ended up in Scandinavia and other places, and started butting heads with those Gaels or those Celts. So we know exactly where the bastards came from.
Yep.
Attila the Hun,
Oh yeah.
where is he coming from?
Mhm.
That group, right? Every little group that the Goths and the Vandals and all that stuff, who are they? They are coming from those Aryan reindeer hunters. That's where
Yep.
they're coming from, and that's where the
The
word Aryan
bastard men.
comes from, by the way. It's what they call themselves, the people of Arya, right?
Mm.
The great mother goddess. And that's where those bastards came from, dude. The Celts were civilized.
So,
They were domesticated, dude.
so you're telling me this whole time the whole problem's been single mothers? I got you. No, I'm
Yeah,
with you,
yeah,
Chester.
yeah,
Even their goddess.
yeah. No, they did. The Arya. That's the Aryans. They're
Ooh,
the people of Arya, the mom.
that's
Ireland, Arya
amazing.
land, Iran. There's countries all over the world that worship the mother, and they're named after it, dude.
Yeah.
It's coming from these bastards, these barbaric Aryans, dude. And yeah, that is the truth. 100%. And they transformed Europe into what it is today. Not the docile, domesticated Celts,
Yes. As they do. As a
as
force,
they
as a
do.
fire does.
Yeah.
Burns it
Now,
away.
to be fair, those Celts,
Hey,
they did build all the road system we attributed to Rome, and they're wrong.
hey,
Uh,
figure it out.
they are the ones who built Egypt, and they because Egypt people seem to misunderstand. North Africa is a European story; it's not an African one. Um,
Yes.
but they did all kind of cool things. They're not going to take away from the Celts. I mean, they did their shit. It was cool. But those Aryans just absolutely bowled them over. I mean, if we look
Yeah.
in England today, Britain, who are the English? Where is their heritage?
Mm.
They are Angles. They are
Hmm.
Germans. They are bastards. And they've
Yep.
proven that over the decades and centuries that they're very much bastards.
Hopefully they can remember who they are.
Yeah.
Remember who the fuck you are.
Well,
Saying that to my Americans as well. Remember who you are.
yeah.
Your
Well,
ancestors are all of us are all of our ancestors are disappointed in us for allowing this shit to continue.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's same through in the Merovingians. We were mentioning Charlemagne earlier, but the Merovingians, the Carolingians, these rulers of France. Who are those people? Where are they coming from? They're coming out of those Aryan bloodlines, dude. They're not the Gallic people of France. They're not none of those leadership. As a matter of fact, all those leaders are coming out one of the greatest Aryan cities that ever been built in history. It's called Babylon.
Yep.
Once again, everyone's like, "Oh, that's Persian." No, it's really not, right? Even Iran, where we know Persia, Iran, keep in mind, Irian, the land of Arya. Aryan, the people of Arya. Even the name of the damn country tells you where they're coming from. But anyway, your point on bastards is historically accurate.
Yep. The bastards are the ones who drive civilization forward because they refuse to just accept that they have to kneel to anything. To be honest, even
Yeah,
even time, they're like,
yeah.
no, nope,
Well, let's
nope, not doing it.
transition a little bit into some more assholery-ish niche, shall we?
More buffoonery-ishness. Elon Musk calls out Amazon's Jeff Bezos over Twitch host Hassan Piker.
Now
Piker.
this is Cenk Uger's nephew,
Yes.
and Jank is corporate. let's be fair.
Mhm.
Cenk's a capitalist, no matter how much he wants to act like he's not. He's a Bernie bro. He's certainly funded by a lot of Muslim stuff. Do I think a lot of people think he's an Islamist in sheep clothing? I don't think so. In a way, he is. I think he will appease the Islamists, but I don't think. I think he likes money way too much. Of course, he does call his channel the Young Turks, which is a quite the slap in the face if you understand the Armenian genocide. But let's stay away. We've had enough history for today, I think. But this is his nephew, and even Jenk calls this guy out all the time and tries to get him to chill. And Anna Kasparian, his co-owner of his company and co-conspirator, also calls out Hassan all the time. Now, Hassan is just a symptom of the times. He is a full on communist. He doesn't even
Well,
bother to couch it in anything. He's just a full on communist,
he's full on a preacher for communism, but he ain't living like no
100%.
communist.
No, he's
He
not.
lives in a
He's not.
multi-million dollar house. He has
He's
multi-million
not.
dollar cars. Like it's
Sure.
the
Like
fact
he,
that these idiots fall for his shtick is amazing. He's clearly just grifting. Now, I
yeah,
don't think
no,
I
I
think
think
he
he
does
is.
believe he's a champagne socialist. I think he does
I think
believe
he
in
is a
it,
champagne socialist, yeah.
but he would
Um,
never give up his lifestyle
but
for it. Come on.
let's take a look at it here. They come from rich family. These are not
Yep.
poor, these are rich kids, right? Um, his family, his parents own lots of properties, and therefore they're landlords. We know how much communists hate the landlords and want to murder them all. Matter of fact, he's called for the murder and just filling the streets with blood of all landlords. He's said this. This is not hyperbole. He has said
Yep.
this, right?
Yes.
I have heard that as well, Alan. But this is a nasty, nasty little human, and he makes some money off of being a nasty little human, right? And you're right, he is a grifter. I don't think he believes even 10% of what he says. However, of course, he came out and said something nasty about Charlie Kirk. Oh, he's a white supremacist, this or that, which is patently nonsense. However, doing his thing, and of course, Amazon does own Twitch. You got to understand these things are all incestuous. They're all owned by bigger things, right? And we'll see even more of that as we move forward today with what I've chosen to talk about. However, Elon did a big old speech the other day. I don't know if you guys noticed it because we were busy with, Charlie. But at the Unite the Kingdom rally, which had 300 people from Tommy Robinson, absolutely insane. One of the world's biggest rallies we've ever seen, dude. Ever,
Yep.
right? And it's very encouraging actually for Britain. But he had a guest speaker show up on one of the big old telescreens there he's got there, Elon Musk. And
He
Elon
did.
came out and he was expressed his sadness over Charlie. He expressed all kind of things about the nonsense, the lack of free speech, and all the nonsense going on in Britain. Of course, he's been banging at the government of Britain and Canada and Australia and South Africa and all this stuff for quite a while. But he laid into it pretty good. And of course, amongst his mentions and also his tweets is to Jeff Bezos himself, who we know is a guy who is very willing to be on the winning side. And of course, he owns Twitch. Why don't you kick that Hassan Piker guy off?
Very good question why they refused to kick him off.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you.
because if you and I had any influence and we had a big channel, they'd be on our ass.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, no. They wouldn't let us be on there. No shot.
No shot. Even YouTube doesn't like us, and we
No
don't have much
shot.
influence at all. But you know, you need to show your opponent's guts on there. You need to be gutting them, shanking these Emma efforts. This is Piker quotes, by the way. Slice them
Yep.
up, slice them, and fucking dice them. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood, dude. He said this so many times. Kill Rick Scott. Okay. Someone has to do it, and we've seen a lot of lefties saying someone had to do it with Charlie. A lot of that comment, right? Now these are things he has. It's not just recent. Hassan says this shit all the time. He's a lunatic. But you know, now my question is because of the current situation and the current environment or zeitgeist even that's quite clear, and all these corporations and people like Bezos and others, uh, uh, I'm sure they're conflicted. But do you think we might see some action in this regard? Mm, I think he roboted out. I mean, because it's one thing to see, a company hire fire an employee for a ridiculous online comment. That's a very different thing than going after an influencer, right? An actual one. There's a lot of people like to call themselves influencers, and they're not. But Hassan is. He has push. He definitely has. Whether you like it or not, he does. He is a nepo baby. 100% he's a nepo baby, right, baby? As is
Yeah.
Cenk. But do you think we might see Bezos and Zuckerberg and some of these other big SNS guys? You think we might see a little bit of bending from them?
I hope so. We've already seen a little bit from Bezos with the Washington Post, for instance. He went in there and, from what I understand, tried to clean them up,
A little bit,
right? Tried to
yeah.
tried to get them, to stop being complete communists because he's not one. Um, so that's good. Obviously, Musk is on board, even though I don't know if him and Trump have kissed and made up yet. I think they probably will soon, if they haven't, because every reason they teamed up is still valid, even though Trump's president. Like the world's not in a good place, and we need two of our most powerful men on the same side here.
Sure.
Like
Well,
it's just good for everybody.
that's on Elon
Um,
because Trump has extended the olive branch many times. It's on
I
Elon.
think he will. I think Elon will. I think it'll, especially with this thing that happened with Charlie. I think Elon will eventually swallow his pride. And he already did basically apologize for some of the stuff. He did straight up for some of the stuff he said. So I have a feeling they've had a conversation or two, and he's probably calmed down. And I understand where Elon's coming from. I do. He's been under unbelievable pressure that is just outrageous. He doesn't deserve
Yeah.
any of that. Uh, so I get I get why he cracked. Not everybody's Trump. Trump doesn't crack. It's amazing. He has fortitude of
Yeah.
an ancient hero.
It
He's
is
he's
impressive.
Herculean.
It is impressive. Yeah.
And so my point is, I think so. I think the culture. I mean, look with this with Charlie getting got. Um, Look what happened. I don't know if you're going to talk about this or not, but you had pro sports teams honoring him. You
Yeah.
had brands that had nothing to do with him honoring him.
Yeah.
You had airlines firing people, grounding pilots, which we all know they need pilots. We all know they do, so that's a
Yeah.
big deal. Even if they don't fire them, grounding them's a big deal. That stuff doesn't happen a few years ago.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't care. If Trump would have got shot, I don't think that stuff would have happened. I mean, got killed to this extent.
It
Maybe,
would have
but I
been
don't think
different.
so.
It would have been different.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the culture has shifted dramatically away from their bullshit, and they don't know. So you're just going to see more and more violence from them because they don't have any other out. When the
Yeah.
left starts to lose, they get violent.
Yeah. They do.
That's what happened in the late '60s and in the '70s, and it led to things like Reagan in the '70s and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But when they start to, and even no, I'm sorry, not well, Bush too, but even Clinton was far more right wing than anybody on the left today. Uh,
Now, Clinton, we know there's a lot more to that story, but he
yes,
was much more moderate.
yes,
That is fair. Yeah.
especially compared to a guy like Hassan Piker. So my point is,
I think he was more
I
moderate than Bush.
oh for sure. My point is, I think we're starting to see the groundswell that I've been telling you is coming for a very long time with the younger generation, especially of young men. Because and nobody wanted to listen to me. Everybody said you're crazy. No, look at all these ones are gay and da da. I'm like, yes, there's a lot of them who are saying they're this, that, or another thing. I get that, and maybe there are. Fine, but look at the ones who aren't. They're ravenous. They're in. I mean, you got guys like that Nick Fuentes. He's young. He's in his 20s.
Oh, they want him
These
dead.
Oh
That's
yeah,
for sure.
these sorts of people. There's millions of him. Like he's just the
Yeah,
most. He's just the he has the biggest platform at the moment.
yeah,
But there's tens of millions in America of
yeah.
all races. It's not just white boys. There's. I'm telling you out here, they're underestimating how angry young men are. They just don't feel it, but they're gonna. And I think they're starting to, and it's
Yeah,
scaring the shit out of them. So they're
yeah.
gonna do things like kill the voices that are trying to speak for them, speak to them, like a Charlie Kirk. Probably going to try and kill guys like Andrew Tate, maybe even Tommy Robinson. That's going to happen. And these
Oh,
guys know it, by the way. They know
Tommy's
this is
well
coming.
aware he has a target on his back. The British
Yeah.
government itself is constantly trying to lock him up. They
Yes.
can't stand it. You know, there was at that gigantic rally. I mean, the biggest in history, as far as I know. I would say even the procession of Cleopatra probably didn't come close to that.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
that's one of the bigger ones in history, whether if you don't know. But the
Hmm.
procession, because Hollywood makes it look all like, ooh, they're lovers, and ooh, this the queen is coming. That's not what that was. That was a capitulation, and one of the
Yep.
greatest capitulations in history, actually. But in that procession, there were a lot of people at it. A lot of Romans showed up. They even came from the far out in the provinces to see that, and
Hmm.
it demonstrated the true power of Caesar, the original Caesar, Julius. But anyway, with the zeitgeist has been shifting, and I think this is certainly put a big hinge on it, and it's going to shift quicker. I am
Yep.
really interesting because the Americans have been pretty quiet. And
Hmm.
There've been a lot of vigils, a lot of people talking. This today for you guys Sunday, I imagine was just millions of people were in places of worship, quietly
They were. I'll be honest with you,
memorializing.
Chester. I don't do this. I even teared up a little bit because me and Charlie probably would have argued just as much as we would have agreed about a lot of things.
Sure,
But he didn't deserve that.
no, he didn't.
He didn't do anything wrong. He did nothing wrong. He never hurt a single person. You have no evidence he ever hurt a
No,
person. He was
well,
a father of two young daughters and a good husband, according to his wife. He didn't deserve that.
yeah,
I'm not going to say there's not some people who don't deserve. I'm not going to sit here and say there isn't, but he wasn't one of them.
yeah.
And the fact that
Well,
people can't tell the difference between one who does and one who doesn't, that's why you're going to have the bastards come in. We're going to show you the difference, you sons
yeah,
of bitches. You're going to learn the
and
difference real
you know,
quick.
because Charlie was part of the olive branch, is what he was part of.
Yes,
And You know, they rejected that, and with the responses we're seeing, they clearly don't get it. They think it's just business as
yep.
usual. Like
They
I
don't know.
said,
They're in danger.
there's been many politicians that have said dumb things, which is, you know, normal Tuesday.
They're politicians.
But
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, I mentioned early, and I'm going to come back to it. This woman, Pocahontas, is a vile creature. If you
Yep.
bother to study her at all, you'll understand that. With all her nonsense that she gets up and speak and all her rhetoric, uh, on the undertow of you might not be aware, she's really in charge of banking. And a lot of people seem to be unaware of her power in that regard, because you hear about debanking. A lot of conservatives being debanked. Who do you think's
Yep.
responsible for that?
Yes.
Right. It's Elizabeth Warren, right? And She came out and made a statement that all this hype and all this is just stupid nonsense. All this response to Charlie Kirk, this is all Trump's fault and his rhetoric and his hate. This is all nonsense. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. Elizabeth Warren, just the other day. So she clearly completely lacks the ability to read the room, which, Tuesday. But Yeah, I think she should be censured, and I really think the Republicans need to start hitting hard. I think
Yes.
Texas showed the way when
Yep.
they decided to leave the state and to protest because they couldn't have a quorum vote, and they put the hammer down on them hard, and they still are. I think the federal government needs to do similar things. And
Well, the
I have,
fact of the matter is, you've been elected to do a job, and you're
yeah,
refusing to do it because you know you're not
right.
going to get your way like a child. That is a crime. You are
It
in
is.
dereliction of duty, of your
It is.
sworn duty to the people, not to the government. No, to the people who you represent. And the fact that they think they can just get away with that, no, they should be caged.
Yeah.
Stop it. And they should be
Um,
stripped of their title and have a new election until someone's ready to do the job. I
I
don't understand how that's even controversial.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, but I think they should censure and cause. I think people around the country should cause confidence votes and various things like that.
Yep,
And because I really think the Congress and the Senate need to be being a lot more harsh. And than they have been. They need to really
I
get
agree.
at it. Now, I understand politicians don't like to make actual big moves because it
That's
gains
changing, though.
attention. It better. It better.
It is.
Because I'll tell you what, I kind of felt that at the midterm, Trump would still hold the majority and be able to continue his presidency without lame
Mhm.
ducking. I think it's going to be an absolute massacre, dude.
Well, we'll see.
We could see what
Uh,
happened to the NDP in Canada. They went from being a one of the bigger parties to nothing.
yeah,
Right?
yes.
I think you might
Hopefully.
see the Democrats absolutely shatter, and in the
Here's
long
what I'll
run, you
say.
might see them separate into multiple parties.
Here's what I'll say. I think America has put up with Democrat bullshit for far too long.
Far,
The
far too
fact
long.
that they are even allowed to be a party still after all the things that they've done to this country.
Yeah,
And I'm not even talking about necessarily in the last 50 years. We can go further back if you'd
we
like.
can, we can.
And just about every problem you can name was a Democrat problem.
It
That's
was,
just a fact. I'm not even a Republican. Fuck the
especially if you're a
Republicans.
black person.
Oh my God. So these people, and I use that term as loosely as the definition will allow me to, they need to go as an organization. I don't care if that makes me a some sort of mean, nasty fascist word, one of those big ugly
They
words.
don't know
Fine.
what the word means anyway. It's
These
okay.
people are encouraging murder, wanton murder of good men in front of their families. I don't give
Yeah,
a shit what their status is. They got to go.
yeah.
Was that
That
last
can't be
part meant for
tolerated.
me, Chester?
Yes, it was. I, my Jedi mind tricks felt your presence.
Hmm,
Go
cool.
ahead.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
where would you like me to start?
Well, I mean,
Oh boy.
this is a venting day. I haven't really picked any kind of normal stuff I do. This is all about Charlie and the State of the Union. And I will say this, Grimlock and Thundera and everybody listening. Um, Obviously, even though I'm not in the states, it hit me just as much as it did you guys. Well, maybe not as much. But I just another ridiculous nonsense, et cetera, et cetera. We've been talking about here, but it showed me how big this was last week on Friday for me, Thursday for you guys, where my drone quartered. I
Mm.
do, which is the show that gets, we usually get around 100 views on that, right? That's one of our bigger shows. Sometimes we get hundreds of views. And we were doing H.P. Lovecraft, which is a very popular thing, and I knew the artists were excited about it because there's so much freedom with that. Anyway, I'm sitting there getting all my stuff ready, had all my research, had all my presentation, all the stuff I do, normally. I was all ready to go. Nobody showed up.
Mm.
And of course, why? Because Charlie. So I knew right then, and Jeff and I had a small conversation about it. But I knew right then that, ooh, this is big. It's bigger than I thought initially. Because both my wife and I were like, "Oh man," she was more nice about it, and I was like, because I said, "You fuckers," and I think she was like, "Poor Charlie," she's a nice lady. Uh, but but this is a big deal, dude.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's tragedy.
Well,
So
True tragedy.
I guess I could start with saying, Chester, remember years ago, me and Thundara was trying to tell you about the state of how things was getting really rough here, and you didn't quite want to believe that there was that much vitriol
I'm an
between these
optimist.
people. Well, Optimus Prime, how do you feel today?
No, fuck them.
Optimus Prime.
No, fuck them, dude. Fuck them.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I'm with you. I think a huge number, a much larger percentage than anyone wants to reckon with of America is with that too. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Anybody out here celebrating? I don't care. Put them in a cage. Fuck them. Don't care. Don't care. They're antisocial psych. You're a sociopath. We don't need you on the street. If you think it's good that a young father was murdered in front of 3,000 people for speaking, just speaking. That's all he was doing. We don't need you in society. Don't need you. Will be perfectly fine if you're in a cage somewhere or on an island. We'll just build a new Australia. We'll put all your asses over there. Get out. We don't need you because it's not. There's no level of civilization where you can tolerate wanton murder. What I was talking about earlier was civilization. Chester was talking about it too. He got much more specific than me. Was built by the best murderers. That's what it was built by. As we understand it today, our civilization, if you go back far enough, it was the ones who were the best at killing. They even said, "Well, we can't be killing each other. We can't have that. That's not that doesn't work in the end. We have to have some level of not doing that. So we can't have it. And anybody who celebrates it, of a fellow countryman, of a fellow person, we don't need you. I don't care. I'm not saying we need to get you got, but we need to get you out of positions of power for sure, for damn sure. We need to get you out of positions of influence. And honestly, I mean, they want to go on about stochastic terrorism all this time. Remember their big thing about anybody encouraging it is also a terrorist?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember? Okay. Okay. We can play that game too. We've shown you now. The right has shown you we can dox better than you. We just didn't do it because we didn't like it. We can do everything better than you. We just don't do it to you because we actually have convictions and values that your life matters. We actually believe what Charlie believes, that you're worth trying to talk to. At least we used to. Now you've proven that there's no point.
Yeah. No, they have.
Now you get the boot. We've tried to use the word. Now you get the sword. Sorry.
I guess also, Grimlock, I could respond in this way. The Winchester 308 is quite a value.
Yes. I will be gun shopping this weekend myself.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, it's been said numerous times by numerous people. If you cheered for a man having milquetoast opinions, because that's quite frankly what Charlie had, was rather
nice guy.
milquetoast opinions. There's nothing Charlie that from what I've seen quite a bit he said nothing that I haven't heard over the last 30 years of my life. And to say that he not only deserved to be killed, but to be killed in front of his family for having a milquetoast opinion, as I've said before, as I told somebody else, for the last 15 years, the left has set the rules of engagement. Because I remember when I first started taking notice of this, and when I first started taking notice of this was them infighting with one another. This was before they even set their sight on conservative people.
Yeah.
And probably had Trump not won in 2016, they probably would have still been infighting. But they set the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement is they will dox you. They will dehumanize you. They will compare you to the worst of They will compare you to the worst of the history of humanity.
Oh yeah.
And they will cheer your death, as you've seen. People keep thinking, "Oh, they wouldn't have done that if Trump died." They bitched for 6 months that the shooter missed. Let that sink in.
They did.
For 6 months. And just this past Labor Day weekend, when Trump took a couple of days off, they thought he died and they was getting ready to celebrate.
And you know what else, Grimlock?
These are the people you're dealing with. And for years, Anybody who's not left or even moderate said, "Oh, well, we don't have to act like they do. We're about using ideas and words to change hearts and minds. You can't change these people. These people are a cancer.
Yeah.
These
And
people, these people is what Sarah Connor described the Terminator is in Terminator 2. They cannot be reasoned with. You cannot talk
well,
to them,
Reese described
and
them.
they
I
will
get your
not
point.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, both of them did, but they will not stop. You see this now. They will not stop. You had people talk about, oh, if uh, advocating for the death of a fascist cost me my dream job, I would have done it 10 times harder. Okay, let's see if you're really about that life.
Yeah.
Let's see it, because now, and I'm glad that some people are finally seeing, the non-leftists are saying we accept your rules of engagement and we will behave under such rules. So now it's on.
Yeah.
And
And the
and
Marlin 308 is even more better value at half the price of Winchester.
and I would say this to the leftists out here who are not sadistic animals. I will say to you the same thing I have said to black people and the LGBT community over the last 10 years. You are letting the worst of you represent you.
Yeah. Well,
And if you are not willing to ring them in, somebody else will.
yeah.
And at that point, you have lost the right to complain on how they get reined in
Yeah.
because you've had your time. You've had over a decade. And I know a lot of people, they just wanted to live their life. They just wanted to take care of their families and do whatever, what's important to them. I understand that. But you have a group of people who have made it their life, their entire identity to this ideology, and they will not stop. People like the Hassan Pikers of the world, that scum sucking faggot, those people have been living a life that they live a life that they don't even advocate for. The life Hassan Piker lives is not the life
He's a
he
rich boy.
advocates for.
That's true. That is true.
And to be honest, in a decently run country, he would have been deported at least 5 years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
But
he is a particularly obnoxious and repugnant example.
no,
But do keep
he's
in mind,
treasonous.
no, he is.
He,
We've seen a lot of treasonous activity, particularly from the left under the Biden administration, let alone now. But I will say that, just as a caveat to that, we have seen a lot of young liberals, particularly females and some black kids, that have come out and said this is the most disgusting thing they've ever seen and they'll never support the Democrats again. We have seen a wave of it. We have.
that's that's good, but
Yeah.
but that's not nearly enough.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
not.
not enough.
It's just.
Um,
I mean,
the
I said before. I was having a conversation in Discord before with a couple people. You're talking about a couple of wins after taking 60 years of losses.
Yeah,
You
no,
need a lot more than that.
it's it's to the point that the sedentary response needs to end. It
Yeah.
just needs to. And with that, let's go to another person that I could have chose anybody really, but I thought this was funny because this jackass, you know, he's just, there's so many of them, Hollywood types. Rosie O'Donnell was up talking, and she's all about Trump being a pedophile now, but they're all got their little dumb things. Here, you can read the headline if you like.
Stephen King's The Long Walk bombs at box office following Charlie Kirk comments. A 33-year low. Oof.
Yeah.
He looks like
Now,
an
That's no
old
good.
lesbian in that picture's damn self.
he
He
does.
does. Yeah.
And to keep in mind, this is just the straight rip off of the Hunger Games. Anyway, But this is what's got him in a little bit of trouble here. He did come out and apologize. He said, I was wrong, and I apologize, and I have deleted the post. Okay, fair enough. But what he put up here, of course, Define L's said, I'd say Stephen King should be ashamed of himself, but what's the point? The response he had here is to Jesse Waters saying Charlie Kirk was not a controversial or polarizing man. Charlie was a patriot. Very good, Jesse Waters. The man on the street, even. He advocated stoning gays to death. Just saying. All right, Mr. King. Now, Charlie kind of they took a clip from Charlie showing that's true. Now here's that's not true. Now
But
here's the thing.
that's most of the people
Well, we
who are
talked about
calling
this
Charlie
earlier.
Kirk a racist. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. We talked about this
but all
earlier.
they've seen are those edited clips, and they.
I know.
This is the same. This is also the same thing they did with Kevin Samuels. I don't know why people are surprised by this.
Yeah,
They
but
do this when they hate you. Like I said, they dehumanize you. They have done all they can to dehumanize Charlie Kirk for
oh
having
yeah.
those opinions, for otherwise justifying their evil point of view. And that's, like I said, that's
Yep.
fine. Remember, it can come to you too.
Of course it can. And that's where the push meets the rub, right? But here's the thing when we're talking about Charlie, and I think the point of the day is this: he advocated stoning gays. Now, once again, I've been using Steven Crowder all day, and I will continue to do so. So he will take all of my karma for himself. But now, would Steven make a offhand, a dark joke like that? He might. He might. It would be a joke, and it would be said as a joke, but he might. Now, I guarantee you, you can take the time and go through every word, every tweet, every anything from Charlie Kirk, and you will never find anything about him referencing anyone being stoned for anything. I guarantee it. But we get this incredible response of, "Oh, Charlie's just this and these horrible things," as Grimlock just said, and there's zero. I mean, literally zero proof. So my question is this: Stephen King is not an idiot. He is, but he's not.
Yes, he is.
Right? You know what I mean. He is a very successful literary author, of course. But here's the thing: where did he get that from?
A good question. Because remember,
That's very
not
specific.
too not too long ago, the left was all up in their feelings, all real big mad about misinformation. Remember?
Yeah.
And then they put out all this stuff. They had this Facebook trust and safety, and they would come and show. I got kicked off of Facebook for that. In fact, uh, they also had Twitter put in all this stuff with the community notes, which I think is probably the best of a bad situation. The community notes typically does work fine. Um, but regardless, they were all up in their feelings about how evil misinformation is, how dangerous it is, and yet so many of them, including Mr. King here, who is besmirching my name with his continued existence. I wish he'd stop it. Uh, Even Mr. King here falls for just nonsense. No point. And I've seen a lot of Charlie Kirk stuff. I watched him come up. I remember his first video. His first video was he walked up on a college campus and started arguing with some socialists. I remember it. He was nobody at the time, and
Yep.
he launched that into what he became.
Yep.
And I've watched it become what it's become. And like I said, I've had many disagreements with his political views over the years. I'm not going to get into them now because they're not relevant. But my point is, this man was not at all what they're claiming he was.
Not even
Not even
close.
close.
That's why I asked, where the hell is this coming from? Because stoning gays is very, very specific, man.
That's right.
Where are
Yeah,
you
that's a
getting that
very
from?
extreme position that only Muslims seem to take.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, with stoning is for adulterous women. Gays are
That's
thrown
correct.
off buildings. So
That's right. High
I'm
places, in
high
fact. High
places.
places.
Well, that's what Muhammad said, even though he was a
Yeah.
homosexual himself, which is
Uh,
weird.
it just hurt. You're asking to get bombed, I think. You're just
Dude,
asking for
dude, there are many examples
it.
of him being a homosexual. Many.
Yes, I'm fully aware. He was a
So
homosexual, and like most homosexuals, oh, he was also a pedophile. Whoopsie! I
Oh,
said
he
it.
was that too. But I mean, the Muslims know this, dude. I mean, there's a whole story in there of him being gangbanged by a bunch of whatever they argue whether they're Pakistani or blacks, but just gangbanged all night by a bunch of black dudes with gigantic penises, and he was very,
Yep,
very specific about how the gigantic penises. By the way,
that's right. Yeah, he
yeah.
seemed to be very enamored.
He
Very
was.
enamored.
And he mentioned it many
Um,
times after that as well. So I don't. What the fuck? I mean, the Muslims aren't going to argue me on that. Not
but
at
the
all.
well,
the
some of
funny
them
thing,
will.
but it's funny watching all these leftists advocating and using him wanting to stun gays as justification for wanting this man murdered.
Yeah, but the thing is,
At the
Charlie
same
never
time, you
said
are
that, dude. He
advocating.
never said that. He
I
never
know
said
that.
that
I
shit.
know that. But wait. They're advocating for that while also advocating that advocating for Pakistan and Muslims, people who will stone you for being gay
Or what have you. Yeah, no, the
or
relationship
throw you off a
between
building.
the communists and the Muslims
It's
is quite interesting, or Islamists, I should say. I'm going to get some coffee. I'll be back. You guys yell at King for a bit.
Oh, I have many things I could yell at Mr. King for. Uh, least of which, well, not least of which, is this whole thing with Charlie. It isn't a great example, though. You notice he had to backtrack and apologize. You see, a few years ago, wouldn't have been the case. These people have lost. They've lost. Now, you can put a lot of that down to Elon Musk. You can. Buying Twitter was a huge deal, huge cultural moment, a pivot point, if you will, a turning point, if you will, if we're going to use puns today. But it was also just, I think COVID really ripped the mask off of a lot of these people. And it took us a little while to, to rebound, if you will, from the COVID malaise or whatever you want to call it. Um, when things like that happen, it usually does take a few years, maybe even a half a decade or more before the impact starts to be felt because it's just so like what the fuck that you're in shock as a culture for so long. So I think Chester had mentioned this the other week. After COVID, we were all just kind of happy to get our normal lives back for a while. Even if it was, turned to shit very quickly, it was nice. And it allowed us to breathe a little. And I think that's why you didn't see a lot of people thought there was gonna be a huge wave of anger against everything that happened. There wasn't at first, and that confused people. But it didn't confuse me. And the reason it didn't confuse me is because people were relieved to be out of tyranny. They didn't have time for vengeance. They needed to breathe. Now you're starting to see the pushback, not only culturally but in other ways. Obviously, all the other stuff they've been doing too, with all the transing kids and shoving that stuff in children's faces and all this stuff, isn't helping their cause. But I think we're starting to see the simmering hatred that was at the bottom. That had been coming up. Hatred's the wrong word. Anger, righteous indignation. We'll use that word. Has come up, and I think with this, that's why Trump was reelected by all counts, a landslide. That's why the Republicans won one of the biggest victories they've ever had electorally. That's why you're seeing this reaction to Charlie. Charlie was one of those guys who everybody just kind of took for granted by and large. He was just always around. He always was doing something. He was always, arguing with somebody or debating somebody. He's just one of those guys who I think everybody just kind of expected to always just be around, right? Maybe even run for office one day, maybe. Um, and now that's not going to happen. So that shock is like I said, I even got a little teary eyed at the injustice of it because he didn't deserve that. He's a good man. I don't like it when good men get hurt. It actually bothers me when good men get hurt. Bad men, you can hurt them all you want. I'm not going to shed no tears over them. But a good man, when injustice is brought upon somebody like that, a great injustice that even my own wife was sad about, and that she's not plugged into this stuff at all, and she's still sad about it. you should feel something. And I did. And I think that a lot of people in this country felt the same way. I think a lot of people in this country got hit with emotions they weren't ready for, a stark realization that COVID wasn't some one-off thing that we can all just pretend didn't happen. These people are monsters. These people are monsters, and they would gladly turn you over to demons to save themselves. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't even see you as a person. They laugh in your widow's face as one of their little retards kills you in front of your children and her. They mock your own widow. They mock the woman. There's no recourse. There's no discourse with these people. The only thing you can do to them is ostracize them even more. And if that doesn't work, well, I won't say on YouTube, but that's the only other option. And that's just the way society and civilization has always handled people who are so antisocial that they would relish death. You can't have that. You can't have it anywhere in the West, especially. You cannot have people who relish death like this. It's the same people who the left tries to pretend like the abortion issue is some sacred thing to them, like they really care. And every time they talk about abortion, it's this holy right thing they're talking about, and it's very sacred, and they have this reverence for it. Yeah, I've watched their rallies. I've seen them celebrate the murder of these children. There's no reverence there. There's glee, pure joy at what they're doing, at the power they have to end human life. They're evil, pure and unadulterated. No other word needs to be said. It doesn't need a qualifier. They are evil. They serve evil, and everything they bring about is evil and dark. Chester said it earlier, that the monster usually wins historically. Yes, because good men let him. That's why. They don't stand up. They run away. There's nowhere left to run, guys. The monster effectively won in Europe during the Protestant Reformation. Now, eventually the Protestants did get their foothold and did, balance those scales, but it took a very, very long time. And a lot of them had to run. And where'd they run to? America. And they built America. There's nowhere left to go. Unless Elon gets the ships to Mars going, there's nowhere left to go. We're out of land, folks. We're out of places we can just go take and make our own peacefully, or mostly peacefully. So the reality of it is we have to get a little bit sinister with it. We have to harden our hearts, let the bastard men do what they're going to do, and just look the other way a little bit. And I know that sounds terrible. It sounds like I'm advocating for genocide or something. I'm not. I'm advocating for people getting their ass beat politically, verbally, and maybe physically if they will not behave themselves. We cannot have, in a civilization, people who celebrate death of good, innocent people. If you want to celebrate the death of bad people, pretty much all of civilization's always kind of done that to some degree. But these aren't bad people. He wasn't a bad person. Charlie's not a bad person. There's nothing. You have nothing. Nothing. He might have said some things you disagree with, but at no point did he do anything to hurt anybody. Did he exploit anybody? I've never even heard of the man having a big drunken bender or anything. Maybe he did, but I've never heard of it. He was straight-laced. He was a good boy, as much as a good boy can be in 2025. He was a father. He, as far as we know, according to him and his wife, they were the only two they'd ever been with, ever, in their whole lives. He was living his convictions. He was living his virtues as best as he could. And they killed him for it. They murdered him for it in cold blood. This psychopath did it. Now, there is some evidence, I was going to get into this earlier, there is some evidence that this was not just a lone gunman, that, yes, the lone gunman is the one who shot him, but that there was potentially a whole, basically, terrorist organization behind him that had encouraged him or in some way indoctrinated him or in some way, pushed him towards this. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just saying that there is evidence out there that supports it. And as far as I understand, the FBI is looking into it. There's a very real possibility that those actors are foreign, because if it happened over Discord, like we're doing now, I'm in Ohio, my boy Reggie here, my boy Grimlock here is in Carolina, and Chester is over in Japan. You can do anything on Discord. Talk to people all over the world.
Hi,
So
Solidus.
they could have been from anywhere. This isn't even like conspiracy stuff or anything. The fact of the matter is, Charlie had changed his tune on some things in the last few months that certain people didn't like. There's rumor that he had lost a bunch of donors and was about to lose one of his biggest donors because he had turned on what Israel was doing in Gaza. Now he didn't turn on Israel. He just didn't like what they were doing in Gaza. And I don't know if they had anything to do with it or not. I'm not accusing them. I'm just saying
Well,
that there's still a lot of questions
and
that need
let
to be answered here.
yeah,
A
dude,
lot of
unless
questions.
your name is Ben Shapiro, you have a problem with Gaza. Okay?
Well,
Um
exactly. But he even used the word ethnic cleansing of Gaza, which by definition he's correct. That's what they want to do. They want to remove the Palestinians from it. Uh, but
they
I'm not.
do, but the Palestinians
I'm
want to
not.
remove the Jews. So I mean, it goes both
I'm not
ways.
against it. I'm not against it. Listen,
I'm 100% an imperialist. If the Israelis can take it, they can take it. It's that simple. Might makes right, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, geopolitically anyway. Not interpersonally, no. You can't just be dominating people, but
Right.
geopolitically, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely, that's the law. Might makes right.
they are kind of proxying for us right now because Trump doesn't want to get embroiled in war. So they are kind
Yes.
of proxying, I think. But whatever, that's a completely different conversation. But yeah, I this kid, and let me go ahead and move on from Idiot King. Um, Let me bring this back up then. Hold on a second. This kid, I will come to that in a minute. Maybe I didn't put it up there because it was irrelevant. But all right, let me come back then. But this kid who did this was 100% motivated by Antifa and this communist ideology. That's the end of the conversation. There wasn't any Groyers or Goyers or whatever the fuck they're talking about. It's very clear why this kid did what he did. It's super clear. Now the right keeps saying, "Oh, his lover was in transition," and the left's like, "Oh, you're just picking on transgenders." I don't give one shit that the kid's gay. That doesn't mean anything to me. That's not the problem. His Antifa ideology, his communist ideology is the problem. There are plenty of gay people who are well-adjusted, friendly, kind people. That has nothing to do with anything per se, other than Antifa tries to encapsulate and steal that conversation. But
What they do is they prey on them. Uh, the reason why you have all these trans shooters and whatever is because we don't like to say it in society anymore, but these people are mentally unstable.
yeah, and there are a lot of
Obviously,
them.
they think
There
they're in the
clearly
wrong
are.
body. So what
Yeah.
happens is these bad actors get in their ear and they start doing it, whether it's on Reddit or on Discord or wherever dark corner of the internet they're hanging out in, and they start yapping to them. And I think it could be anybody. We don't know. Like that was my point. My point wasn't that it was specifically this group or that group. I don't know. It could have been anybody. It could just be random Antifa professors in America doing it. We don't know. But what we do know is that it happened because this guy, you don't just one day wake up and decide you're going to kill a major political figure.
Oh no,
That's
and
not how it works.
there seems to be an organization behind him that the FBI is starting to root out. This was not a solo thing, and I don't think it ever is. There's always people around who know what's going on, but I'm kind of waiting because it's they begin the transgenders, gays. They've been taking a lot of knocks, and there's a few of them that are vocal, like Dave Rubin. But I'm kind of expecting for them to start coming out and say, "Hey, not in my name, buddy," right? Because there's plenty of gay people who don't agree with this bullshit, and there are plenty of transgenders who have survived their delusions and nonsense to try to find some semblance of a life. There are plenty of them, right? So when are they going to start coming out and say, "Hey, not in my name," right?
um,
Because they
they
need
had
to do that.
they had briefly done that some years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. They had that little movement called "I Am Not Your Shield,"
Yeah, no,
where
I remember that. Yeah, that's
white
right.
liberals was using them to justify their idiocy, and it kind of got beaten down. And I'm pretty much guessing it got done with because I hadn't heard nothing about it in years. But like I said before, these people are letting the worst of them represent them.
No, they are, and they need to start
And
talking out and saying, "Knock it off."
no, it
Alan,
ain't
hold on a
about
second.
talking. You
I'm
pass,
sorry. I
yeah,
need to reprimand Alan. Hold on a second.
you pass talking.
Okay.
They
Alan,
need to start
uh,
clubbing them over the head like seals.
fair enough. You can do whatever you want with Rubio, Alan. I mean, he technically is one of your people. However, you leave Governor Huckabee and his very, very ugly daughter out of it.
Oh, why you got it, man? Why you gotta throw Sarah under the bus like that? Ain't her fault. She can't help what she look like.
That's true. That is fair. Chastise me. Yes. Go
Well,
ahead.
no,
She's a good
she's a
girl.
congressman. She can at least afford a pipe of bag put over her head by now.
I'm
She's a
sorry.
governor.
You go ahead, Grimlock. She's governor.
Governoress. Yeah,
Yeah.
of
No, she can
Arkansas.
afford good plastic surgery then.
Ma, she's married with
uh,
kids. I don't. The only person that it matters her looks to is her husband. Right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We
That's
need
the
it. We
reality.
also there's something we need to convince the women's of once again. Um, Once you find your husband and you say these vows and you do all the whole deal and you make this guy or whoever pay a whole bunch of money to put on this ceremony, nobody else's opinion should matter as far as
No.
validating your appearance.
Yeah.
Now, maybe another thing, sure, but not in that. And if you're trying to get it from other places, you're already a whore.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you, that's what you
No,
are.
that is true. There is a transition a woman normally around the world goes through. In
Yep,
some cultures, like the Hawaiians, they move the flower from one ear to the other. But
right,
there's a transition between single woman and married woman. Now, there's nothing
sure,
wrong with a married woman looking good and presenting herself in a clean, put together way. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
yes,
But the trying to gain the attention of men to find a husband time is over. But
that's
so
right.
few of these women will understand this basic dynamic.
Yes. Well, it's because Chester, you see, the whole all of these problems we're talking about go back to hedonism.
It does.
And hedonism is just selfish and greedy. One of the things that drives me nuts in the discourse around the sexual dynamics
It's a
of
shame. I
women
did
on
used to enjoy hedonism.
especially well, yes, especially with the Womans when you have around the so-called right wing, the so-called manosphere,
Hmm.
is they use the term hypergamy. Hypergamy, where
Yeah.
women try to move up. They try to move up.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But when a woman who's with a man, committed, a ring on her finger, whether married or engaged, but definitely married, decides that she's going to do that, that's not acceptable behavior morally. We got to quit making excuses and giving them outs. Well, it's just their nature. No. It's my nature to beat the shit out of anybody who talks back to me. I don't do it. You know why? Because that's not acceptable morally.
Yeah.
That's why. You can't just allow people to be greedy. It's just greed. It's simple greed. And we have to start calling out. You want to understand where shame went. It's when men stopped letting their women, to be clear, the mothers of their children, their wives, shame other women. When we started getting in the way of that and not having their backs when they would do it, that's when it fell apart.
Yeah.
Because the only
Yeah.
one who can get through to a woman besides dad and mom, and sometimes not even dad, and sometimes not even mom, is other women.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
a herd animal and they need the consensus of the herd. So
They
if
do.
you get a strong woman who's got her shit together, she takes care of herself, she handles her business, she's a matriarch, and she tells you to stop being a whore, that hits a lot harder than if just some guy does it. A lot harder. Because you can't say she doesn't understand, bitch. She understands you. She understands you better than you understand you. And she's telling you, stop it.
It's
Knock it
true.
off. This
That
is
is
why
true.
guys like Kevin Samuels, as fun as he was never going to get the headway that people wanted him to get when he was talking to the women. Because they don't care what a man thinks. They just don't. Unless they're in love with you, they don't care what you think. You're not even a human to them unless they're physically and sexually attracted and romantically attracted to you. That's how their brain works. They shut it. It's a survival mechanism to protect the family, right? They shut every other man off like they don't exist. That's why if when you're married, your brain needs to do what you were just talking about, that switch. Flip
Hmm.
that switch, and now this is the only man that matters. These are the only children that matter. But the problem is the women's minds, because they're incapable of pair bonding, and this is what leads to so many of these problems, because they're out here being whores and they give so much of themselves away to men who don't care about them. And while it's fun while in the moment, 10 years later, they can't find a man because they can't actually see a man. They don't
Well,
see men
yeah,
as men anymore.
they've completely destroyed their ability to pair bond. Kind of
Yeah,
mentioning that of the herd mentality to that of which men are able to switch between. Do you know the etymology of the word hermit?
tell me, hit me
It
with it.
is a word that is used and carried over. It's one of those loan words that ends up in a lot of languages, but it
Hmm.
means originally it's a person of the desert, is what it means.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it basically kind of gets used as a person who lives in an uninhabitable region, and in modern times, it comes to be a person who is rested in quiet or a person of solitude, hermit.
Hmm.
However, there's an important little aspect to this, whether it be in the Greek, the Latin, or the French. This word
Hmm.
is a masculine noun.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Wonder why that is, Chester.
Because there's
Can't
probably
imagine.
never in the history or ever been a hermited woman.
Yeah, right. As long as,
Mm,
she has a working vagina,
mhm.
she can probably find a man who will take her.
Yeah.
I've seen some unbelievably hideous women, and I don't just mean
Sarah
physical
Huckabee.
appearance. I mean, stop it. I mean in every way, personality, everything. They're just terrible, monstrous, ghoulish individuals,
Blobbish.
and they still get laid. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't. What? Have some standards, men. Just
Men.
have one standard. Just
Men.
one. Pick one and have it, please.
Men. Fair enough. Let me move on to another dynamic of this, which we've already covered, but let's get into it a little bit more specifically. How many people are getting laid off? Now, go ahead and read the headline, or just read it. I'm
I
gonna
got. Hang
help
on.
you in a second.
Hang on. I'm gonna put my
Why
hand over
he's
that
setting his
face.
eyelids on fire?
Gretchen Gretchen Felker Martin. First of all, Felker, that's your name? Change it. Felker. Get out of here. Martin's DC Comics career
No, it's not
over
his real
following
name anyway.
Charlie Kirk comments. Felker. Get out of here.
Okay.
That ain't a
Now,
name. Who made that shit up? Felker.
first of all, um, uh, this lady is certainly passing. I mean, wow, I couldn't even tell it's a dude.
It,
Um,
that looks like Peter Griffin. What are we talking about?
it does. It looks like Peter in drag. That's a uh, fair point. Um, but now I put this up here because the DC comic writer was doing the Red Hood as of late. But it's a representative of how many people are losing their jobs. We don't know the precise number, but a lot of these companies like nope, 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 nope. This one we don't want to play with this whatsoever. And of course, is it's a lot of them are losing their job. Just kind of as an off before I let this to these guys, Felker is a German name, and it simply means stranger or person visiting from a foreign land. So it kind of means foreigner in German in a way. Anyway, go ahead. To felch, to be from afar.
You
Sorry,
felch.
I had
No, this is
I'm etymologing today.
so two things that catch my eye. Mr. Kirk had a hunter's gaze. His eyes both go almost perfectly straight.
Yeah,
That's probably why he was so successful at what he was doing. But anyway, little biology, little psychobiology for you. This creature over here, you can tell why they are the way they are. Look at them. I mean, wouldn't you want to try to be somebody else? My goodness.
yeah,
Regardless, this is a good thing. This is how you know the culture has shifted. Now,
yeah.
of course, they're trying the old BS gaslighting. I thought you were against cancel culture. We were, and we tried to get you to stop. But now, just like back in the day when you didn't want to fight somebody, like, man, don't hit me, stop it, stop. And then eventually, you just got to unload because he
Yeah.
won't stop. That's where we're at now. You're in the find out phase. We were telling you for over a decade to stop fucking around. Warning you, eventually we're going to hit back and we do this better than you. And I knew we did it better than you because I had been doing it semi professionally when I was an activist against corrupt politicians and corrupt judges. We knew we were better than you at this. And lo and behold, look what happens. Now you see the culture has shifted. And because they made it acceptable to fight this way, they as Grimlock said, they changed the rules of engagement. Well, okay. It's kind of like you can't get mad. You brought the gun to the knife fight. You can't get mad when somebody starts drawing a gun. That ain't how it works.
That's
You
true.
don't. You don't. That's not how it works.
That is true.
That's where we're at now.
I'm gonna leave this picture right here
Oh, come
for Alan.
on! What are you doing?
That's for
What are you?
Alan.
I got a minute. I got to get Discord out of here. Get out of here. I got to close.
That's
Get that down.
no,
Oh,
that's for Alan. That's for Alan.
oh
For Alan.
no.
Yeah.
No, no, no,
You're
no,
welcome,
no,
Alan.
no, 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 no. Stop it. Stop it. It is never that bad that you have to
It
be that
is.
ugly. Stop it.
It is.
Stop it. Like, unless you got some kind of physical ailment, you got no excuse for looking like that. Get in the gym, lose some weight, figure out some fashion, something. Something. Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, that's not a pretty woman.
No, that's not a pretty anything.
No.
That's even an ugly man. That's how bad it is. Like a lot of these trans who switch up and you kind of can't tell. You still can tell, spoilers, but you kind of can't from certain angles. They were already pretty men before they did this. They were decent looking guys, so they had the features. Not so much. Not so much. That's not acceptable to be that ugly. I won't have it, Chester. Chester, I won't have it.
I'm leaving it here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's just tragic. You know what's weird to me is for some reason when I look at that, it looks like Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah, no,
Oof.
you're right. It's 100% Ethan. Just cover the hair. Oh my God, there's Ethan. It's Ethan in his goth phase. Oh, here's another one. This is real nice for the Allen.
Oh no.
The funny thing is, of course, Felker meaning a foreign person, but Martin means, of course, a follower of Mars. The god of war.
Mm-hmm.
So
I really don't like the
I'm going to
hyphenated
use the
names.
word infiltrator
Yeah,
to
I don't
sum
like
up
it one
this
bit.
person's name. But this is just one person. Sucker Punch, of course, and Blizzard are under, and Elon called them out because a lot of the people working with Sucker Punch and Blizzard came out and said shit that they shouldn't be saying.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people that are getting called out, getting fired, various
Good.
things like that. I hope it rolls even harder. That is so perfect. I'm leaving that right there.
All I can say to those people is they're very, very lucky men like me are not in charge of the government. Because I wouldn't tolerate this behavior. From anybody. I don't care if it was a normal leftist guy who got like that. It's not acceptable.
No.
We simply can't have it. We can't have people celebrating it. We can't have people cheering it on. It is unacceptable behavior. It's just as unacceptable as if you walked up and slapped a kid in the face. We can't have it. We just can't.
One question I do have, and I've been kind of joking about it, and so have you. What we haven't seen at all is conservative, once again, because they're conservative, but people that could be considered politically right, going out and popping people. Nowhere, none of it,
You
zero
mean in
of it.
response to this?
I'm just saying that we haven't seen any of that, and we see these crazies, these crazy leftists, just popping off constantly. We have response after response with recently it's been a lot of transgenders, but whatever. We have just going after Christians, just killing people because of their ideology, and of course this democratic ideology is also playing out, especially in the cities, because they're very soft on crime. Poor little black people, poor little criminal. Which I don't know why they assume all criminals are black, but whatever. Democrats, and of course because of their soft take on crime and their zero cash bail and all these other various things, we have things like little Ukrainian girls getting killed on frickin' light rail, right? It's all part of the same problem. It's the same thing. So, but what we haven't seen is not a single, not even one response from the right that is even slightly violent. What does that mean?
I'm back. Sorry. What'd I miss?
I'm saying
Hello?
You
that
were saying the lack of violence from the right.
from the right, there
What
hadn't
does
been
that
any.
mean?
There are zero examples of the right acting in even slightly violent ways. None. None. for years of this nonsense. This has been going on over a decade. Keep in mind, everything is now racist. Keep that in mind. Beef
True.
is racist. Hamburgers, of course, by association, therefore, are racists. Your
Well, I mean, have you
bananas
seen
are
them?
racists.
Hamburgers are brown, Chester. I mean, come
Fair.
on.
Fair. Reading is racist. Math is
Math.
racist.
That's right.
Being on time for fucking work is
Yep.
racist.
That's right. Get that out of here. We don't need it. Get it out.
Sorry.
Bunch of
I'm
white,
very
bunch of white
punctual
people.
person. I'm rather punctual.
Well, there has been some, to be fair, but it's nowhere near the scope.
Well, give me one.
The
I haven't heard a
the
single one.
FBI. I don't remember their names, to be honest with you, but the FBI. What they've done for a very long time is this little flim flam game. They play this little flim flam game. They'll classify right wing violence as even violence amongst themselves. So, like, say there's like a neo-Nazi group somewhere, right? Just for instance, and they have a spat and somebody gets shot within the group. They classify that as right wing violence, even though it was against themselves. They do shit like that, which is just like, that's kind of dishonest, because we all know what they're implying, right? Is that they're out here shooting a bunch of randoms to get what they want. Now, there have been a few cases here or there whose all their names, of course, are escaping me right when you ask for them. But it's still very sporadic, and it's almost always just lone gunman situations. There's none of this talk of organization or anything like that. And immediately, when it happens, instantaneously, they're called out by the other so-called right wingers and the right wing institutions and what have you, as that's not how we do things. For instance, I'll give you a great example. Everybody's favorite little mestizo, Nick Fuentes, his stream on Charlie after he took a day off to collect his thoughts or whatever. And when he did his stream, it had a whole bunch of viewers. I think 150,000 people were watching it live. And on that stream, he basically said, if you're a follower of mine and you're considering picking up a gun and being violent, I disown you completely. For instance, because he's a Christian, and obviously, Christians aren't supposed to do that. Now, I disagree with that interpretation, but that's neither here nor there. Regardless, my point is, even in the fringe, which he's about as fringe as you're going to get, at least at that level, they're nonviolent. They're calling for nonviolence. They're saying don't act out. Even the groups that I was a part of, we had a rule: no lone gunman shit. If anything like that ever pops off, it has to be as a group. One or two people shooting a bunch of people over here, there, whatever, isn't going to do anything but get you killed and then hurt your cause, which is all it ever does. For instance, as we're seeing now, this has hurt their cause. It doesn't actually affect change the way you want it to. It isn't the early 1900s anymore, where a duke can get shot and the whole world blows up, right? I don't think
I've heard
that's
a
going to
lot of
happen anymore.
people referencing Franz Ferdinand. I've heard a lot
Yeah,
of it actually.
I just don't see that happening here. Now, I think if Trump were to got, it might, but Trump's a different level. But regardless, that's not the point. The point is, even on the fringes, a lot of these people, why they want blood, and they do want this gentleman to be summarily publicly executed and live streamed. I haven't heard too many of them openly call for violence, and I'm jacked into a lot of these circles. I haven't seen it. I've heard them say that it's about that time, that they're tired of this shit, that da 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 da. But that's venting. That's not actual action towards a goal. I've been parts of groups who wanted to overthrow the United States government. And by part, I mean around them, not actually in them. And even they are saying, no, now we don't have what we need. Like, you can't just march in there with 100 people and do something. You can't January 6th it. That didn't accomplish anything except ruin a whole bunch of people's lives. That's not how you have to do this. You have to be ready. You have to have a list of demands. You have to know what you want, actually know what you want, and know how to affect it. And then you have to have the numbers. The numbers are, if you actually wanted to do a political revolution in this country through force, you would need at least 2 million active fighters ready to kill for it. That's the numbers. At least 2 million.
Yeah.
Because of the topography of the land, because of the fact that there's so many cities, they're all spread out. There's not too many great concentration centers of population that also have direct influence over those other places because of the federalized system and the decentralization of power. So you would need a lot of boots on the ground to take it. This is why we're basically uninvadable, because it's so disparate, it's so
Yeah,
spread out, and
and we
like you
have
said, we're 50
guns,
different nations. Well,
more
that
guns
too,
than people.
that too. And so my point is, calling for direct violence like that is, not only is it stupid when there's not enough people in your corner, it won't work. Yes, a civil war could break out, and I do believe that the right would win that, but it would have to be at a, like all revolutions, they're not started from the bottom. They might be formulated ideologically at the bottom, but it always has to be someone near the top who betrays the elite, the aristocracy, or the whatever of the day, and allies with the people in the upper middle to the lower middle, right in that group, and then they go and make change. A good example of that actually is Caesar. He was beloved by the lower classes. Beloved.
Yes,
They
he
saw
was.
him as a hero. He was a traitor to the elite in there, and they killed him for it. So, and then the greatest leader of all time came in and killed them. So everything turned out fine. But my point is, that is how
Oh boy,
revolutions are
did he kill
successful.
them. Goodness
Oh
gracious.
yes, the American Revolution is no exception. The founders, as we have revered, were very wealthy men. Many of them, most of them lost everything, including their lives, but they put it all on the line. These were effectively, in many ways, the elite of the country in various different things, whether it was science with Ben Franklin, or hemp in agriculture with George Washington, and
Yeah.
what have you.
Mel Gibson came
These
out the
were
other side though.
Yeah, these were very, very much in the upper echelon of their society, of that society at the time, and they betrayed their other elites. That's who they were betraying, and they knew that. They knew what they were doing. But in order to facilitate this betrayal, they needed numbers, and they had them. My point is, the right wing knows these things. They also know that if it goes hot, they're probably going to win. They also know that they don't want to kill a bunch of people. Believe it or not, they are actually Christians. They're tired of this. They're tired of this nonsense, but they still believe that even their enemy's life is sacred.
Which
Even
is
their
the
enemy's
answer
life
to
is
my
sacred.
question why none of them have kicked off yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. They actually believe what they have. Remember what I said earlier, Chester, the word of the day: convictions. Because all evidence to the contrary says they shouldn't care anymore. They should be out here just chopping heads off, getting real medieval with it, sword or board, get out of here, you're done, we're had enough. But they're not, because they have conviction that their God wouldn't be happy if they did.
Because
That's it.
it takes a fanatic to do such things. And the only
Yes.
fanatics and fascists that we have are those that call themselves Democrats.
Yeah. No, I unironically think the Democrat Party needs to be big portions of it anyway. Maybe not the whole party, but big portions of it need to be brought up on RICO charges. Enough's enough. The fact that they're not out and out condemning the violence, the fact that they
Well,
even
dude,
utter the name Charlie Kirk without reverence is to me enough to
dude,
encourage their psychos to kill more people.
they have been calling for murder of conservatives for years, dude.
I know.
Years. This is not slight innuendo. This is direct. So many Democratic politicians, and more than just what you see in the federal. Keep in mind, state does exist. All across the country and other countries, you have these progressive liberals calling for the murder and death and violence against people. They've been doing it directly. It is illegal. I don't know why they haven't been arrested. Several of them have way crossed the beyond the pale, dude. Way. What's
Yes.
that? Grimlock. What's that? Addled old elderly black lady who got her came into power after the L.A. riots. What's her name?
Which one?
The black lady out there. She's very addled and old, but she. You remember in the '90s when the L.A. riots kicked off?
Are you talking
And
about Maxine Waters
that one, yeah. She has
and
called for
Gremlin?
direct violence many times. Why has she not been arrested? That's illegal. It is
Um,
illegal to do that.
Because the
um,
Republicans are
well,
cucks.
if you look at it, look at who's done most of the celebrating for Charlie Kirk's death. Fucking
Yeah,
women,
them, yeah. Oh, it's mostly women, yeah, 100%, yeah. And of course, another thing we haven't even talked about. There's been so many
mostly
vigils,
liberal women.
yeah, mostly liberal women, but we've also seen another phenomena that a lot of these vigils and things around the world for Charlie, these absolutely slap out their damn mind. Liberals show up and try to antagonize, destroy. It's like, do you have zero survival instincts? And even in that, the conservatives don't kill them.
It's because they haven't been killed. That's why they think they can get away with it.
Yeah, but
Kill
dude,
one of them.
that is straight up wow, dude. That's straight up wow.
No, it's not. It's very simple. These people operate like children. Remember when you was a kid and you was doing something you knew was wrong, but if your parents didn't whoop your ass, you didn't care.
Oh, that's right. Grandma punched me in the jaw for that thing. That's right. I remember.
Okay,
You had it coming.
how many
I
how many
did.
times have you how many times have you seen? I've seen tons of videos where I've seen these fucking deranged fucking liberals go somewhere. They're obstructing shit. They're yelling at people. They're cursing at people. They're spitting in people's faces.
Yeah.
They're cheap shotting people.
Hmm.
All it takes,
Sometimes killing
and
people.
and 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 no, and I know some people. Oh, don't do that. Look, like I said, they set the rules of engagement 15 years ago. You want to keep playing that moral high ground shit? Good for you.
Yeah, but I mean, like
I'm let
the guy who went to the one. There's been many, not just one, but that one guy who went. He was doing thing he could to get people to attack him. At that Charlie Kirk vigil.
and they
Um,
should have obliged him. They should have.
they well, I mean,
They should.
I mean,
I'm put it like this. They should. I wouldn't have killed him. I would have crippled him. I would
yeah,
have
no, I would
paralyzed
have broke a leg or an arm or something.
him.
I've
No, no,
done
no, no,
it
no, no, no.
before.
Nah, I want him from the neck down to not be able to move ever
wants to
again.
make him rhyme with potato. Is what he's
No,
saying.
yeah,
He's gonna be a potato.
and you know what I want? I want you to be completely dependent on your nurse, and I hope your nurse is a Christian conservative.
Oh yeah,
That's how you get people like that.
yeah, but it is
no,
it is purely outrageous behavior, dude. It's purely outrageous. It's insane
Because
to do
because
that.
there's no consequences. You talked about the guy having the Ukrainian woman. How was that able to happen? Oh, I don't know. 14 prior arrests and no consequences.
Yeah,
yeah. All right,
That's
Chester.
cashless
not
At
bail.
the
14,
outcome.
can we? At 14, can we kill him? Can we just put him down? I mean, come on. At some point, we just got to admit this one's defective. We don't need this
Yeah,
one. We
yeah.
don't need him.
Because that thing
Just get him out.
that one hurt pretty bad too. There's a lot of them, little kids getting killed by transgenders, hating on Christians. It's all bad. But the Ukrainian one did hit pretty hard because here you have a girl who was able to escape a war zone, and keep in mind it's ugly as shit over there, right?
Yep.
It's not just the Russians on their front line. The Ukrainians are doing despicable shit, dude.
Yes.
Despicable shit. If you're a person in Ukraine and you happen to be of Russian descent, trust me, when this is all done, we're going to find mass graves, dude. We're going to find
And she
them.
probably was. I'd imagine of Russian descent.
Whatever. She got out and she
Yep.
escaped it to come to America, a peaceful place, she thought.
Well,
And she gets
supposed
taken
to be.
out by some rabid black dude. It doesn't actually, his color didn't even matter. Just some rabid dude
Well,
that should have been in
his
the
color did
system.
matter in that case because he specifically targeted her because she was
Well,
white.
he did
Even
say,
said
"I
so.
got that white bitch." Yeah.
Uh, and the fact that everybody on that little train or whatever it was
All the
said
black
nothing,
dudes that said nothing and
just
did nothing.
just let her
It's
bleed to death.
Yeah,
Put
it's
him down
weird.
too. Get
Yeah,
him out. We don't need him.
I mean, I
We
don't get
don't need
that.
him.
I've seen a lot of that shit. I mean, I don't understand that thinking. I just don't come from that kind of thinking. Even over here in Asia, which is wicked peaceful. I've had situations
I
on the
understand.
trains
I
that or
I understand.
others that I've stood up and said, "No, back the fuck up."
I understand part of it. I don't agree with it, but I understand part of it.
Why?
Daniel
I
What do you
Penny.
get out of killing a skinny little white girl?
No, no, no.
no, not
When
that.
you said
You didn't need it.
about the people who didn't do anything, Daniel Penny.
Yeah, that's why.
Why?
Yeah,
Because
fuck
the
Why?
that
guy who
shit.
tried got
Because
his life turned upside down by a
Yeah, but he's all
activist.
right now, right?
Yeah, but it
he's
took
all right
almost 2
now.
years of his life.
Yeah.
He's all
Nah,
right
fuck that
now,
shit.
but
It doesn't matter.
but
No, I get you. I get
no,
what you're
no,
saying, but
and also he's also a special case because he's a former military man. He's
yeah,
seen hell before.
yeah.
Most of these people haven't. Most of these people can't even fathom
Yeah, but
being in that what they even in that situation. And it's come on, man. Look, you've seen how people act if they hear a fire alarm go off. You think
yeah,
most
but
people
that's
can
because they're a
handle that
bunch of damn
situation?
pussies that have been raised wrong. Plain and
Mhm.
simple, dude.
I'm not disputing that.
Well, fair enough. But I mean, because like this is a simple truth. When you see something bad, you stand up and you try to do the right thing. You being victorious or successful in it has nothing to do with the action. Nothing.
Mhm.
I have entered in many conflicts in my life, physical conflicts, and the fact that whether I could win or not had nothing to do with me doing it. And I've got my ass kicked many a time, by the way.
Yep.
But
Yes, but but see, Chester, you're also talking about a time where that was not only expected but encouraged.
yeah, of
Venerated.
course it is, dude.
Like I said, for the last 15 years, they set the rules of engagement. They told you you're a bad person for defending yourself. That's why you see these people doing the shit that they do at these rallies. That's why that dude felt as comfortable as he did going to that vigil, acting an ass, because they have set the rules. The rules are you can't even defend yourself even if you're in the right.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, I would
I
have
don't
at
know
the
if he's in
minimum
the
broken
chat,
a
but
finger. At minimum.
me and Maple Chic was talking about this last week. I don't know if you had saw this, but there was a police chief up in Canada that was telling the people that if somebody breaks into your home, to wait for the call the police and do nothing. Don't
Yeah, let
you
them do as
you
they
can't
will.
defend yourself. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
fuck hell no.
leave your keys in your car.
No, somebody breaks in my home, they better kill me because I'm definitely killing them, and they will not find that body. That's a
Somebody
guarantee.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of my
Guarantee.
point. With men being men, we do like to puff our chest out, right?
Yeah.
I get that. I
Yeah.
understand it. I understand that. But my point on that exactly is, it doesn't matter if you're going to win. It's quite irrelevant. You might go walk into a situation now, you're definitely losing this, you're gonna get your ass kicked, you might even die. It's not the point.
Yeah.
You do it because it needs to be done, because it's the right thing to do.
Well, the sad reality is, if that sweet little, which I'm assuming she was a sweet girl, I don't know. We're just going to assume since she was brutally murdered. Sweet little girl had been just a little bit more racist, she'd probably be alive.
Yeah, that is true. Because she didn't think anything at all sitting with him behind her.
Yep.
But
And I wouldn't. Ain't no damn way on public transit. No, it doesn't even matter if he's anybody. I ain't letting somebody sit behind me. I'm sitting in the back, right in the back, so I can see
yeah, I
everybody.
always keep my back to the wall if I can. But
You just
I
never
don't.
know. You never know when some psycho's gonna go psycho. You just can't possibly know it. You can maybe see it coming if you're looking for it, but if you you don't have eyes in the back of your head. And unfortunately, that girl, she was not raised in a culture that taught her to be ready for that stuff, to look for that stuff. Clearly,
Unfortunately, yeah.
and
But
I honestly, the truth of the matter is, it's a sad reality. If she had been a racist, one, she wouldn't have been on that with all those black people because obviously, and even if she had been for some reason, she would have made sure she was in a position where she wasn't vulnerable like that. Uh,
yeah. So
that's
what you're
just the
telling
sad
me
reality of it.
is America has just completely lost its principle.
Yes. Well, no, no, no. Let me
Benny,
be. Let's be very, 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 very clear. America has not, but America is captured. A lot of this country is not American anymore. It just isn't. Go to Dearborn, Michigan is a great example. It's Arab. It's completely
Yeah, but
dominated
I
and
met
owned by
Arabs
Arabs.
in America when I was a kid, and they were Americans.
Yes, they came here to be Americans. These ones didn't. They came here to conquer.
All
They
right.
came here to leech. They came here to build little colonies and little ghettos and little whatever client states of wherever they're from, and that's what they're doing, and they're doing it all
Oh,
over
I
the
see.
place.
I do believe there's a clause in the Constitution that allows you to just kill them.
Yeah, but details. I would say even places like Southern Chicago, where where they're it's just barbarity. That's not American.
It is
I don't
crazy.
care. That's just an example. I wouldn't particularly consider North Carolina as un-American, but apparently there's parts of it that are.
Oh, there's
Um,
that one city there. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's an
so
artist. What do they call that? not a recluse, an artist. What do they call it? Where people come and join in an area to be part of something. Damn it, my brain's not
You
working. But anyway,
commune?
there
What are
is
you looking
a.
for?
I don't know. It'll come to
Collective?
me.
What are you looking
Yeah,
for?
collective. Sure, it's not the word I
Yeah,
wanted. I wanted a more
you
sophisticated
also
one. But you know.
you also have to remember that the Arabs, specifically the Islamics,
Well,
are
the
very
Islamics are the
peaceful
problem.
and
Yeah.
kind and want to be your friend when they're the smaller majority or minority. When they start becoming the majority, that goes out the fucking window
Oh yeah.
real fast.
The number is 9%.
Correct.
There's actually a number
9%.
for it. 9%. Yeah.
There's actually a literal name for it in Islam. I can't remember what it's called, but there
So,
is a name for
so
this
I've
tactic that they use.
there is a name for it. I forget the name of it too, but I have met many of Arabs because where we live,
Hmm.
Yep.
and they were. I've been friends with them, but would I trust them if they were the majority?
No,
No,
no way.
I don't trust
Ah.
them even if they're the minority because it literally tells you in their book you can lie to someone that's not an Arab. You can pretend you're their friend till you have the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Takia,
No, they are complete bullshit. The word I was looking for was cooperative. Sorry.
cooperative. There you go. No, that term I do know. It's takia. You're allowed to lie in the name of Islam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Dude, we could go on a many-hour rant about all the problems with Islam.
there's many, but
Yeah.
well, they got that from the Jews. That's a very Jewish idea.
Well,
Lie in the name
they
of
are
their
Jewish.
people.
Did you know that
Yeah.
Aramaic, the
Hey.
language of the Jesus, that is
Yeah.
actually
Mhm.
where Arabic comes from.
Correct.
Yes.
Aramaic is one of the oldest, and it
It's
was
a Jew
where Jesus was
language,
from.
which is what the
Where Jesus
Arabs
was from.
speak.
This is the dirty little secret. Where Jesus was from, they were like white people. Sorry, sorry to
Well,
burst
dude,
everybody's bubble,
I
but it
don't
was
know.
very they were blonde headed and blue eyed in parts of
Yeah,
that where the Aramaics were.
now you're kind of getting me on a rant now, but with the black Jeebus. Because, no, we know exactly what he looked like. He was blonde, blue-eyed, and tall. We know exactly what he
Yes,
looked like.
direct accounts from the Romans of what he looked like,
To be fair, those kind of
and he
classic
wasn't very
Catholic,
handsome.
no,
Wasn't very handsome.
those kind of classic imagery that we have for Jesus, the classic European look, isn't
Hmm.
actually white enough.
Right.
That's the
Yeah,
truth
usually
We're,
of it.
brown haired and those.
we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to talk about that, Chester, because something racism. Demographics
Why?
can't change in a region,
Why? Well,
apparently.
now how does that apply? Who's going to come to me and tell me that Buddha didn't look anything other than like an Indian dude? Oh, that's right.
Chinese
All
Right.
the
people, maybe.
Asians who
Yeah, I was gonna
present
say
him
the
as a little
Chinese,
Asian man, fat Chinese
like
guy.
the
Yeah,
Mongolians. Don't you dare try to tell them about Genghis, old
yeah.
Changus.
No,
They
that's
won't
all
be
right.
having
I corrected myself.
it. Oh, it is funny though. It's one of those little what's the word, idiosyncrasy. We'll go with that one, where people just have they get their druthers up about it. They just can't. For some reason, Jesus has to look a very specific way, or else he doesn't matter. We just throw him out. Buddha has to look a specific way. Nope, get him out. He didn't do nothing unless he looked like me. It's very strange behavior. I don't know where it's this weird like deep racism that these people have. Uh,
Yeah.
it, it's sadly something that a lot of white people like that young girl simply do not have built into them at a deep level. At least they don't anymore. But I do think it's coming back, and I
A,
think that's probably for the best because
a
the world's
lot.
a better place when white people defend themselves.
Yeah, a lot of people around the world don't have that because they don't live inside racial,
Yeah.
environments. They
Racial
don't.
jungles, as Joe
Yeah.
Biden once famously said.
Well, yeah, that's true. But no, I mean, a lot of people just don't have the concept of racism really.
Right.
It's a misnomer to use it that way. But
I
yeah,
don't have it because they haven't had to deal with like different people.
no, they
Blood
haven't.
tribalism.
And even
Most
if they do
countries are,
have racial
yeah, they're very,
mixtures, they're culturally the same. That's true. Yeah.
yes, culturally they're the same too.
Yeah.
Although that's changing because of the immigration movement all around the world. as they would like to call it, or the migrants movement. Which I have a question for you, Chester.
Mm.
What's the situation in Osaka?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
Osaka, you
He might
talking
not even.
about the protests?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the protests and the migration, if you want to put it, or as I like to say, mini invasion of Pakistanis.
Um, the Japanese don't like to talk about such things. But yeah, no,
Hmm.
I would say the Kurdish people are probably more well known. The problem with them than with Pakistanis. But there is a lot
Hmm.
of pushback against it. Of course, it's one of the reasons why the prime minister resigned because he was forced to.
I saw that.
Basically,
Get him out.
what happened is this. You remember some time back we had a prime minister called Abe, Shinzo Abe, over here.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
man himself. Yep. Hmm.
Well, he was absolutely useless and pathetic. But other than
Well,
that,
he's a
um,
Japanese politician. That's kind
that's
of,
fair. That
you
is
know.
fair. But anyway, that guy was because we had a guy before or in between him called Aso-san, and Aso is probably the best potential leader they had here, but he was so outspoken that the Japanese cringed at it. But
Hmm.
what he did was he came up and he said, "Hey, we need to deal with some problems that we legitimately have, mostly being." Socially, we're not making enough babies, which is the only problem Japan has. That's it, right?
Yep.
And he said,
Yep.
so therefore, I ask businesses to close their doors early because Japanese have this kind of, I guess I call it tradition of staying late in the office so that everyone around sees that they're a hard worker. They don't actually do shit, but they want the perception of it to seem that they're a
That's
hard
right.
worker.
That's right.
And
Yep.
he said, hey, companies, please cut your hours down and kind of make them go home because we want them to go home and make babies. Now,
Go home and have sex with your wives, guys.
yes,
What's wrong with you?
now his tack,
Hmm.
I agreed with. I thought it was a good thing.
Hmm.
But of course, there was some pushback on it, and women are like, "You don't have to tell us what to do," and they said it like very quietly and hardly at all. But we had that
Yeah.
response, and of course, Abe came back in, and Abe didn't want to deal with it like that because the Japanese might get upset with him. So he's like, "Well, let's just bring in workers." Instead of automating, because that really would be the answer, automate Japan. It's supposed to be
Yes.
robot central anyway. Let's just get to it. But he brought
That's what I
Right.
in
was thinking.
people, and then of course he did before he died. He set in place to even bring more, and that eventually came to fruition now completely under the new guy. So we have a
Hmm.
lot more foreigners coming in. It was an automatic, even in a little town I live in. We have a bunch of Indian dudes and ladies working
Oh
in the
God,
convenience stores. Right?
they're the
I know
worst. Get them out. Get them out.
it is it is very cliche. But anyway, and of course, in general, it's not a problem. But in some areas like Osaka and others, they get together, and of course, people are tribal. And they've been causing troubles in Osaka, particularly. And there's been many shows dealing with it in the very Japanese way of kind of chuckling it off, which is not the solution, of course, because I think what you're talking about is a Muslim woman was on
I,
they did an interview and she was on the TV and she was rabidly and she had zero respect for Japanese whatsoever, rabidly
yes.
complaining that the Japanese have way too much pork in their diet. You're a bunch of damn heathens. You need to get rid of the pork in this country. I, the little foreigner here, tells you what to do, and you're going to do it.
And they didn't cut her head
Yep.
off. They should have cut her head off.
Well, they
Their
would have
ancestors
in
would
the
have cut her head
past. They
off.
would have cut her head off
Yeah,
in the past, yeah. But
yeah.
is that what you're
Hmm.
talking about?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Well,
what
there's
Well,
also, I don't know
yeah,
what city it was in, but some migrant just stabbed two people over there.
yeah.
Yeah, there
No,
was
we've
that
had some
too.
trouble with the Kurds. There's black people are showing their ass, but of course, part of that problem is there. I forget some rapper or some YouTuber guy said, "Hey, black dudes, come over to Japan. You can fuck any little girl you want anytime you like." And of course,
Hmm.
that's not 100% true, but it's almost true, right? If you
Mm.
having the slightest bit of game, because Japanese men have zero game, zero, right?
Gameless.
They are gameless. If you have any game, whatever, you can get laid in Asia pretty easily, especially if you're a white guy. Sorry, Grimlock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I
I'm
hear
only
that.
half
I've never
offended.
been.
Are you tall, Grimlock? Are you tall?
I'm only half offended.
I'm
Well,
taller
compared to a
than them.
Japanese.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
fair. There you go. Fair enough.
5'10".
But so you've had a lot of black guys coming over here, literally instead of going to Thailand, coming here thinking they could pick up the girls, and if the Japanese take it as being slightly, well, I don't know, what's the word? Offensive?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Treating their women like property,
Yeah,
like
or
they're just things to be fucked.
throw
Dishonoring.
disposable condoms. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. So yeah, there's a problem. There's been a lot of them showing their ass. Like Johnny Somali is only one example. Um,
He got
uh,
got.
he did good, good. But a lot of them trying to be dumb and
They took the
assholeish.
Koreans to get him.
Yeah.
It did, but the Koreans don't play games. They're not like Japanese, even though they are Japanese. It's a long conversation. But
Yeah.
even I've seen it. I was every summer. I go to Hiroshima, and because
Hiroshima.
my wife's company, they a lot of their companies carry chemicals. They
Whoa.
pick
Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
they pick
Sorry.
up chemicals. No, that's okay. And and Hiroshima has a port which will clean those boats out. They have the technology and the infrastructure. So they go there every year to do that, and I usually go along because it's usually around Obon time that they do this. So I go to Hiroshima a lot, right,
Yeah.
with my wife, and just
Mhm.
we go stay in this kind of really fancy hotel over there. Anyway, there's a little island uh, that is in the waterway there. And it's famous because it has a nice shrine on it, and it's got all these deer that just walk around, and you can feed them and pet them, and they're just wild deer, but they're protected on the island. And
Mhm.
I was over there at one of these moments in the past few years because I go every year. Anyway, I was over there, and my wife just likes walking along. Me personally, they have really good baked oysters. That's my motivation. But anyway, um, I saw a bunch of Pakistanis. They weren't some other kind of Arab. They were Pakistanis, quite clearly.
Mhm.
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 And they were all around the deer, chuckling as seemed to be dad, the older one, was sitting there trying to feed the deer, and of course, deer are stupid, the brochure that you get when you come off the ferry. Little brochure talks
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
in various languages that talk about the island and the history and stuff like that. This little plastic laden paper brochure, and he's
Right.
trying to feed it to them. They're all laughing at the deer eating this brochure. Now I walked over, I took it out of his hand, looked at him quite sternly, and he took his
Mhm.
family and went away. But the problem is, Japanese won't do that because I won't tolerate it.
Mhm.
If I see you doing bullshit in public, I'm going to come up and give you shit about it. Plain and
Mhm.
simple. Now,
Mhm.
you might
Mhm.
kick my
Right.
ass. Maybe I'll get shot. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm this amazing badass. That's not the point. It's not the point, right?
Right.
Now, usually when you are forceful, people usually just back away. But this is an experience
Well,
I've had
especially
even
when you're a
personally
walking
dealing.
kaiju,
Well, that's true.
Chester.
But
Yeah, it helps.
this was dealing with, Pakistanis, and I don't think they were per se bad people. It was a family, mom, dad. I think there was a grandma and a whole mess of kids. So it wasn't, and they probably had money because they were traveling in Japan. But it's not like these are evil Islamist, terrorists. It's not what they were.
Mhm.
But it's just this ignorance and this disrespect for other culture. And the Japanese do nothing to disavow such thinking because they're so polite and they're
Well, that would
so
explain
timid.
why they're not having any babies.
That is why.
Yeah.
That is why.
The men need to get their balls back. Chester, we need the samurai back. All right?
Well, I
Just for a
don't think we
while.
don't
No, they
really.
just need to
Just
politely
for a
ask for some
little
pussy,
while.
man.
Well, I don't
Just
know.
for a little
I'm kind
while.
of come to a point thinking I need to deal with it. I'll have to go make myself a couple thousand babies again. It's a lot of work.
Excellent.
Oh,
Excellent.
poor you, poor
No, I
fucking you.
actually, this is what I think is going to happen. We have these birth rate declines. You're going to see a lot of automation, blah, blah, blah. But I think you're going to see sexual automation. I think we're getting
The Chinese are
dangerously
already
close.
doing it, by the way.
Yeah, to the sex bots with the wombs that actually do enough of the job. Uh, yeah, all you need is eggs, an egg supply or a sperm supply.
Well,
Uh, and that's not hard to get. if you're being honest, like there's plenty of women out here who would sell you their eggs for a bunch of money. They just
No,
would
and
guarantee it.
China, this is already happening, and with women selling the eggs, and of course, I did talk about this a couple of months ago.
Yep.
But they also have these machines that are basically little dick sucking machines that they have in
Yep.
the train stations and the airports. They're already doing this.
Yep.
China's solution is very simple. You won't make enough babies for us, so we'll just grow them, and then they'll be
We'll do
state
it
owned
ourselves.
legitimately.
We'll do it
Mhm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see. I think once the sex bots, because I mean, they're real close. I saw on Twitter the other day. I saw this guy. He was selling these. He called them real life mannequins or real life dolls, and these things looked like women. I mean, they were real close. Very. It was still a little uncanny valley because there's no that subtle movement that your body's always doing. That's how something's alive. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
But other than that, they look exactly like women. So if they can get them animated a little bit, get some AIs in them, and then get them functional, it won't be long. It will
Yeah.
not be long.
No,
It's going to be a lot sooner than people
I
realize.
watch the tech stuff every year at the conventions, and it has been getting rapidly better. And
It's
it
Yep.
been
is
pretty
coming. That
crazy.
is true. Of course, that is a completely different conversation than what we're having. But yeah, Japan's having some slight problems. It's not so bad though. We
Not
will see.
yet.
No, well, no, I have a feeling you're going to see some very, very rapid pushback on that.
Well, there is
Um,
a large nationalist movement growing in Japan. I've
there
seen
is.
all over the internet. I say this ironically. I don't think they're actually going to become samurai, but the samurai is returning. At least the spirit of it.
Well,
And
at
that
least what they
probably,
understand a samurai to be. Yeah.
yeah, that's probably a good thing because Japan, I don't know what happened. Them bombs just sucked the masculinity out of that country. Just see ya. We're getting rid
Yeah,
of it.
it did. It did, unfortunately. Had a very different effect. I think it was after it was the problem, not the process. I think
Yeah.
MacArthur and his gentle touch is what fucked them. Because the Germans, when Truman came in, with the Germans, it was absolute disgusting. Now the Russians were worse, to be fair. But the what the Americans did after the war to the Germans was really, really evil shit. And the
Yes.
Germans, I think it benefited them, where the Japanese were handled with such kid gloves, so gently. I
Yeah.
think this was a negative for them, because they needed to suffer for it. They needed to understand they were wrong.
Penance.
Penance,
Penance needed to be paid.
penance. Yeah. But anyway, back on track here. Let me go ahead and
So why do you think that Japan was spared more than Germany?
because they were.
Yeah, the
That's
German
true.
anybody affiliated with the Nazis was effectively just killed, just taken out.
Yeah,
Millions of people
and
were
worse. I mean, the Russians
executed.
came into Berlin. They raped every single female in that
Yep,
city. Everyone.
that's
Yeah, it was bad,
that's
dude.
right. Oh
That
my
was bad.
God, Chester, what is this high? What are we doing?
Well, I thought
What
we'd
are we
have at
doing?
least one thing that might be not negative and potential.
This is
Maybe.
negative. This is
Maybe.
more. This is very negative
Well, anyway,
culturally.
go ahead,
Zack
go ahead.
Snyder's Justice League revival possible. Netflix candidate to buy DC. So wait, to
What?
buy DC entirely or to buy is DC being sold?
Yes.
What's happening?
So I had that, and let's just go
Hey,
over here. Zaslav wants bidding war for Warner Brothers, Netflix still in the mix. Now,
I we called it.
we did.
We
We've
called
been talking
it.
about this for quite a while. But here's the thing: the companies that are interested in putting forward, of course, are Amazon with Bezos. Netflix is making a lot of noise. They really, really, really would like to own Warner Brothers and all that comes with. But there's another company who I find very interesting to be in this conversation as well, and that is Skydance.
Hmm.
Now, um, Netflix is a bit of a surprise, but it shouldn't be, I guess, because they want more skin in the game. And of course, if they do so, there you have Max, which would be melted back into Netflix. So we talked about this. Zaslav was brought in very specifically to build up and then sell Warner Brothers, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's happening exactly as we said, Thundero. He would come
Yep.
in, he'd
Yep.
build it up, they would sell it, but they wouldn't sell Discovery and they'd keep it. That's exactly what's
Mhm.
happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly, precisely. We were right.
We need to be analysts or something. We need to
We
be making money.
something
What are
like
we
that.
doing?
I don't know.
We're real good at it. We're
Yeah,
real good.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
no,
so
it's for the best, to be honest.
yeah,
Warner
sure.
Brothers has been nothing but dysfunctional
They had
for
a good year
I
though.
don't even know.
They've had a good
Yeah,
year.
they did have a pretty good year. Um, so it's for the best, I think. I'm worried if Netflix gets DC. Oh boy,
Well,
that's
Yeah,
not good for
I
everybody.
put it
That's
up
not
they're
good
here.
for
gonna get
anybody.
some
I put it
DC.
up here so we could talk about it. So let's have that talk. Let's look at the three main names, and that's not saying other names might not come up because Ozlov wants to. This is a bidding war, right? So what do we got? We got Netflix. We have Amazon, of course. I'm surprised no one has mentioned Sony, but whatever. We have Amazon, and of course we have Skydance. So let's look at the pros and cons of those. The one I actually see, I think, is probably least likely is Netflix because they just don't have the push that the other two
They have the
do.
capital.
They do
Where do
have a
they get the
lot.
capital?
They do have a lot.
They're
Um,
super in debt. Last I knew, Netflix.
they are, which is what I meant. But let's just
Yeah,
start with them because I think they're the least likely. Nevertheless, is Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
no,
No,
unequivocally no. It would be as
terribly
bad
bad.
as Disney doing it, maybe worse.
Yep.
Well, Disney doesn't
Uh,
have Disney's in hot water. Uh,
yes,
so
but no, it would be a terrible thing.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
Netflix. I mean, just look at their track record. I mean, come on now. Like, when was the last time they produced something themselves that wasn't done by somebody else who's already long established that was decent? Not even good, just
yeah,
decent. It's
but
been a long. The only example there is that, and they never made any more of it, and I don't know why, because I liked it, is Bright. 10 years ago, they came out.
yeah,
I
because
like that movie.
they want their own kind of superhero thing.
Um,
But let
I
me
don't
just
know
kind of
if there was anyone behind the show, The Kingdom, but that was pretty good, or Lost Kingdom, that was pretty good too.
oh
But
yeah, that's true.
Netflix was behind that, but I don't know if there was other people that were
They
successful
tend to buy
before them.
stuff. But I mean, the thing is though, we could get if Netflix got it, what we could finally get is a very uglified Wonder Woman and Power Girl having gay lesbian sex. We could get that,
No, well, you sold me now. I'm
you know.
so
Yeah.
excited at this prospect.
That would
What's
be on the table,
interesting
Grimlock.
is you might get that with this new Supergirl having ugly lesbian sex. So
Oh, I'm sure you will. I mean, he's going to ball the hell out of that dude without question.
yeah,
Pun intended. But so Grimlock, that's a no on Netflix. No,
No,
no.
uh, no to Netflix.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Well, let's go to the next
hell
one
no
in
to
line.
Netflix. Hell no to Amazon.
Well, let's go to the next one in line. Let's go with Sundance. Now, Sundance is very interesting. Their boss has come out recently and made it very
Skydance.
clear that he is doing everything he can to emulate what Zaslav has done at Warner Brothers, which of course means the end and death of woke, right? And
Yes.
he's been very, very straightforward about that, and that makes everybody happy. But they're kind of on a roll. They just bought themselves the Paramount, and taking Warner Brothers and mixing that together. Now, Paramount owns CBS, right?
Yes.
So who owns NBC? ABC is
I
Disney, of course.
I don't know who owns
NBC
NBC.
I'm
Universal.
not sure.
I think NBC
NBC,
owns
It,
themselves. Yeah, I think they're
NBC
still
yeah,
Universal.
independent.
I think they do too.
Let's Google that shit, shall we?
Because if Warner Brothers owned it, that would take
Uh,
Sundance out immediately, wouldn't it?
it is owned by Comcast.
Oh, okay. The cable company. All right.
Yep.
So I
Mm.
like what the boss is saying at Sundance. They just made an acquisition, which we haven't seen any results from, and they're throwing the hat in already for another even bigger acquisition. Now we saw Bob Iger do that with Disney, and everybody was so excited about it. Then of course we saw what turned out of it. But
Not everybody. Not this
well, I'm
guy.
just
I was
saying
Yeah,
heartbroken.
I wasn't invited or
the
excited about it at
well, the
all.
purchase of Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, etc. But
Hmm.
what do we think about Sundance getting a hold of it?
You mean Skydance?
Skydance. Yeah,
Of the options, they're probably the best one, but only because it's the devil we don't know. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what they're going to do yet.
that's
They
true.
just
That's
got
my
in there.
point.
We don't
We
know.
don't know.
Amazon, we know what they're going to do. It's going to be garbage. And the weird thing is, it's not even necessarily going to be like crazy woke. It probably
No, it
will,
depends on the
but it doesn't.
director.
It doesn't even have to be and still be garbage with Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon has
you're
had a
just
couple
so
things that
good.
are just, they're pretty good, but the vast majority of the stuff they put out, the vast majority has been trash,
Yeah,
like just
unfortunately,
not watchable.
Amazon is very made in China, and you know,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, it's not the golden child it could be. But
Like even so, like I'm trying to think. Amazon stuff that I've actually liked. The Terminal List season one's really good, but that's because of Chris Pratt. Uh, Reacher obviously is really good. And still, even though he's kind of a twat, the rest of it's okay. It's still Reacher. I'm struggling. I got two.
The
I'm struggling to go
boys,
much further.
part of the boys, anyways.
The first season of The Boys was fun. After that, it went downhill real quick.
real quick,
Um,
Yeah,
oh, Invincible. Invincible's pretty good. But
Invincible.
again,
Yeah,
that isn't even really them. That's
right,
that's Kirkman.
right.
Kirkman's in complete control of
Oh,
that. So,
right.
by the way, my wife wants to know if we should watch season 2 of the Terminal List.
we started it. It's okay, but like I said, I think I told you this. Chris Pratt is a side character in it. They're telling his buddy, the guy that's on the boat, his buddy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
his backstory. And it's still pretty good. We haven't watched all of it, so I can't give a full recommendation. I think if you like the first season, you'll probably like this one. Uh, but it's a very different story because the first one is very psychological and like, is he actually crazy or is he, like it's kind of gaslights you a little bit. It's that's part of the fun of it. Um, but this one, there's none of that. He's just,
I see.
he gets in a situation, he makes a decision, the right decision, I'll say, but it goes against his orders and da 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 da. So it's still very good though. Chris Pratt is a phenomenal producer, and I hope he continues to make stuff because he's very good at it. Very very
Cool.
good at it.
Okay, thank you. So Skydance, everyone seems to think it's okay. Grimlock, you have an opinion there?
I have not watched any of the Terminal List. I don't watch
No, no,
anything
no,
on
no, no.
Amazon.
Skydance buying Warner Brothers.
They just got Paramount.
I know, but they're
No,
not.
I
They're
don't. To
serious.
be honest, I don't know because on the simple principle is we already have a big enough problem with most with 90% of of all media being in the hands of a handful of companies, and that shit's got to
Yeah,
stop.
I agree.
I agree.
So
I
on
agree.
That
principle
is a big
alone,
problem.
even if Skydance has run well, no, I would rather see Warner Brothers needs to be completely dispersed. They fucked it up. For as many great properties as Warner Brothers has to be in a condition that it's in, it's like, how did you fuck up this badly?
Yeah,
Yeah. Booster is
So
showing all the amazing opportunities Amazon is giving us. Thank you. But the problem is, at Amazon, we know what's going to happen. It depends on the director. It'll just be abused by Bezos because he doesn't really give a shit, I think. But the problem we have is these are the three hats that are in the ring right now. Who knows what the future will hold for that? But it's going to probably happen quicker than you think because Zaslav has done his job. Now the bidding has begun, and they're going to sell this shit off. That's the whole point. Was him to come in there and buy low, sell high, right? And so somebody's got to buy it, and it's going to be a major corporation. It's not going to be some independent thing, unfortunately. So one of these big groups is going to end up absorbing Warner Brothers. And
Yeah.
honestly, my response to it is all of them would suck.
yeah, I kind of agree.
It's unfortunate because Warner Brothers has had a good year. Matter of fact, let me go over here and check real quick. Um, Warner Bros. 2025 movies. Let's see here. Because they have had a pretty good year. No, Okay.
There you go.
I mean, I
Fire right
guess
there.
I haven't watched much movies this year, to be honest.
Oh, look at these sons of bitches. Get them out.
I'm sorry. Did you find something? Are you displaying?
No, I'm looking at you.
Oh,
Your ad block pop up thing.
okay. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So companion, which is like a AI robot gone bad. What an original idea. Mickey 17 bombed like shit though, dude. The Alto
Yeah.
King Knights bombed hard. Minecraft movie
Minecraft made
made
a
money.
bunch of money.
Made money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made
Sinners
money.
Sinners
made
made
money.
money. Final
Bloodlines good
Destination
movie.
made money.
I liked it. It was fun.
F1
F1,
did not make money.
but it was a good movie though.
Yep.
Superman's
Superman's made
definitely
his
made
money.
money. Weapons,
Weapons made all
wow,
kinds of
holy
money.
shit. Yeah, that was a very big profit. Conjuring made money. Always makes money.
Yep.
One battle after no
Never
clue,
even
dude. Is
heard of
that
that.
is
Oh, it
that
hasn't come
Cheech
out yet.
Marin's grandson? I think it is.
It hasn't come out yet.
That's
I'm looking
that's
forward to this, to be honest. I
Leonardo
didn't think I was
DiCaprio's
going to be, but
grandson.
I am
Yeah.
looking forward to Mortal Kombat 2. It
Mhm.
looks fun. It really does.
It does. Yeah, and it's Carl Urban all day long.
Yeah,
But
you gotta love Carl.
well, there you go.
I'll
So
always give
they
Mr.
had a
Urban
good
a
year.
chance. I did it with the boys, but it's not his fault it went to shit. It had nothing to do with him.
No, it didn't.
Nah.
But yeah, so Warner Bros. Had a good year. However, now if we did have someone come in and buy it up, what there are a few things that would happen. I think. Do you? Well, let's talk about it. Whoever buys it, do you think James Gunn would survive the transition?
No. Well,
No.
Superman did make some money, so maybe. I think
Yeah,
it'd be
but
very tentative.
it didn't make a lot of money though.
Right.
It
It
makes
wasn't what they
lots.
wanted it to be. It wasn't what they wanted it to be. They were expecting $1 billion, I guarantee it.
Yeah, they still
And they
haven't
didn't get
broke
that.
even. They will, but they haven't yet. Yeah.
It
So
may have not have. It
it will
may not like
depend.
his vision,
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
but
It will depend totally if they have another plan already.
Right.
Right. So if they buy it up and they're like, all right, this is what we want to do. We want to still do the DCU, but we don't want to do what you were going to do or whatever. Maybe they have somebody, who's building it, formulating it, whatever. Maybe they do. I don't know. If they do, then I think he's gone. If they don't, then they're going to let him ride until they have to buck him, which will
Right.
be the very next film because I almost guarantee you he's not going to. The only reason this movie made any money is because it's Superman. Like, let's be honest. And because it's decent. It's not great. It's not terrible. It just is. It's fine.
mhm.
So that's why. If you put out something obscure that nobody really knows with DC, or even a lesser, not Superman character, it's going to have to be a banger to get the audience. And he doesn't. James Gunn isn't that guy. I've been telling people that for years. He's not a good director. He's fine. He can do okay movies. He can do solid sixes every time if that's what you're looking for. But he's not going to bring you a 9. He's not going to bring you a 9.5. He's not
No.
that guy.
No, he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah. And I think that's what. So it'll really just depend. If they have somebody or a plan or they have an inkling of an idea of what they want to do, then James will just get got. And that'll be it. And it'll be for the best, I think, for everybody, to be honest, because we already see what his plan is to do with our beloved Supergirl. He's going to make her into a drunken whore.
I
I
don't
don't want
get
to see
that.
that.
I'm a bit shocked by that, to be honest with you. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
He's probably going to have her banging Peacemaker, just so we're clear. She's probably going to be in one of the episodes of that in one of the orgies, because apparently that show is just about orgies or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
he's a pervert.
He's a
pervert.
complete degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does Warner own here? This isn't going to help us. I guess I can see some stuff here. All right. So they own Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes stuff, of course, DC Comics, Lego stuff. Those are popular. Monsterverse, of
How
course.
have they
They
not put out more Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes stuff?
or even Middle Earth. They own that.
Very strange to me.
It is weird.
Merry Melodies.
Yeah.
Well, the last two Looney Tunes movies they for whatever reason they didn't want to
They
distribute
did
them.
bad.
They had to freaking
Didn't
petition.
distribute 'em.
John Cena had to petition the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie, and
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if that ever got distribution. And then the Porky Pig Daffy Duck movie, the Day the Earth blew up. That came out, I think, earlier this year or last year to pretty much silence because Warner Brothers sat on it for so long.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, of course, they also have Police Academy. They have Dirty Harry stuff. Please don't touch that. They have Scooby Doo. They have a lot of Stephen King stuff, actually.
You know what? No, I want them to touch it. I want them to get Clint's son to be the new Dirty Harry because he looks so
Yeah,
much like his
he
dad.
does.
And
But
let
can
the guys from let the guys who let the guy who makes John Wick or somebody like him do it. And I think you'd actually get a Dirty Harry movie.
yeah, maybe.
I've got a little bit of faith returned in me that the Hollywood can still make movies like they used to, thanks to Naked Gun, because that movie's great. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. We haven't had just a fun comedy that's just retarded and fun and just, that's what it's there to do.
Mhm.
In 20 years, it feels like. So it was great. So if you give it to the right people, it can still happen.
Yeah.
If.
Yep. Well, we'll see because I have a feeling this is going to happen probably in less than 2 years. Whatever is going to
Yeah,
happen is
yeah.
going to happen. It's going to happen pretty quick. And we'll probably
Probably by
know.
2027.
Yeah. We'll know who the owner is sooner, and then it'll go through the governmental process,
Well, it
monopoly
has to go through the
process.
government. It has to go through the board of directors. Has to go through the shareholders vote and everything, stockholders vote to make sure they're okay with it. So there's still a lot of time. Plus, if he's still taking bids, right? We got at least a year before this gets moved on.
Yeah.
In a major way. Probably sometime around Christmas, maybe early spring, we'll know who won the bidding war, and it'll be inked, and then it will start. That's when you'll see the process start to roll because there's a whole bunch of regulation. This is a big deal. You got government agencies involved. Like I said, you have the shareholders are going to be involved. Like it's going to take a minute, and the
Yeah.
government could just be like, "No, you're not allowed. Sorry,
Now,
can't do that."
here's
They've done it
a
before.
here's a suggestion I have, or a concept. I'll put it that way.
Mhm.
There is one group of people in the world that is buying up a lot of entertainment, and they seem to have limitless funds.
The Saudis.
The Saudis.
Yeah.
But they just bought WrestleMania. Did you see that?
They bought
And
F1.
WrestleMania is going to be there in a couple years,
They bought
2027.
World Darting Tour, which I don't know why, but they did that.
They really want it. Darts is huge in some places.
It is.
It really is. I don't understand why, but some people love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it could be. And honestly, might be for the best.
Yeah. Well,
Because at least you're not going to get a whole bunch of nonsense.
you're not going
You're
to
gonna
get
maybe you
any
get
woke
some.
nonsense at all. You're not going to get
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it. The reason why they're buying all this stuff up is because what's his name? I can't remember his name. The Crown Prince guy. Is trying to pull Saudi Arabia out of the mire of the Middle Ages, basically, that it's been
He's
living in
trying.
for a
Yeah.
while, and get them back into good graces with the rest of the world, at least, on some level. Which is probably a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I
It's
think
probably for
so.
the best.
No, I think the UAE, Saudi, Oman to a point. I think what they're doing is a positive, general overall positive. I think Qatar, those guys can go straight to hell, as well as the other Islamists. But it is what it is. But we'll see. I just thought it was really interesting. There were several articles talking about this, not just one. Zaizalov is a happy boy. He's earning
Very
his
happy
money.
boy.
He's earning his money. You got to give him
Well,
credit.
we called him the Axe, remember? He's the
Yep.
Axe. This
Yep.
is what he was hired to do,
Yep.
Yep.
very
100%.
clearly. And he's doing it.
100%. He is, most certainly. Anyway, let me come on over here because I am
Holy
on my
shit,
time.
Demon Slayer. Look at
Yeah, I
you.
know. And let's take a
Yeah.
look at what we got for new movies here. We got Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle. I didn't even know this was coming. But holy dude, that right there might actually make some money.
Oh, it's probably gonna make money. I've heard nothing but good things by people that's going and seen it at this point.
352 million worldwide. And since that's a Japanese situation, their worldwide box is probably different than American companies. I would at least assume in
Sure.
Japan it is. So
But it's through
I bet
Sony,
they've.
though.
I
It's
bet
through
they've made
Sony.
money.
Um, yeah, but they usually release everything through Sony, which of course is based in Pasadena. But
Yep.
I get your point, though. I think they're right on money, if not close. However,
I don't
Kimetsu no
get Demon
Yaiba
Slayer.
is quite
It's
popular.
it's just completely missed
Very
me, Demon
popular.
Slayer. I don't know why. It's just huge, and I
It
don't
is.
understand. I look at it and I'm like, what? Why?
I
What is it?
watched
What am I
I
missing?
I watched the series a
Um,
few years ago because all my students were watching it and I wanted to understand what they were enjoying. So I watched it. And it was okay.
it's
It was
very
fine.
cookie cutter,
It
but it's
is.
cookie cutter done well.
It
So
is. Rule of cool. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of it's real cool. A lot of it's COVID. It blew up
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
COVID
And some of the themes
massively.
are a bit adult for the audience that's watching it. But
Yeah, I've been baffled by the Demon Slayer thing too, because
yeah.
I've read the manga and I wasn't that greatly impressed.
Yeah,
But I've watched the show and been impressed by the show, but not really the story or the plot. That's pretty simplistic, but I guess it might prove that if a thing's done well enough, story and plot can be pretty simple.
mm,
Well, yeah, that's for sure. From what I understand, the animation quality and stuff is all really good in the shows and in
it's
the
So it's
nice.
movies.
real top notch, and
Yeah,
the
it's
movies
nice.
But
are even more top notch.
it's just one of those things that like, it's kind of like for me, like Game of Thrones. I never got it. I tried watching it, didn't hook me like did everybody else. I thought it was weird and degenerate right out of the gate, and I was like, it's not good enough yet. Maybe it gets better, but I was out. I was like, yeah, I'm bored, and I just shut it off, and I never turned it back on.
Yeah.
It's kind of that with this. It's not that it's bad. It's just not
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
kind of,
That's
I
okay.
think cookie
That's all
cutter
right.
is the best response for it.
Yeah.
Booster,
Yeah,
don't listen to them. Don't allow them to gaslight you. The comic book of the boys is way, way, way better than the show.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what's funny is I said this about my review for Superman is it's kind of more the boys than the show is because they basically just did Black Noir's whole and Homelander's thing, except Homelander's the good guy.
Yeah, no.
I
Well,
just reversed it.
James
That's all they
Steele's
did.
James Steele shit. That is quite clear. You know the thing that's always thought I've always thought was kind of weird about this because this Kimetsu no Yaiba has been going on for quite a while, many years now.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
never understood the translation because Kimetsu no Yaiba simply means the devil's blade.
hmm
It
Good
doesn't
name.
I
have anything
know.
to do with slaying. It doesn't even have
They
anything
just
to do
changed.
with
They just
demons.
changed the name. They just changed the name because the show has to do with demons and blades.
Yeah, but actually, I think what you're going to
They're not
find.
translating it. They're just making
No,
up
they're
another
not.
title.
But I think in the end, because of the naming convention here, I think what you're going to find out in the long run is there is a singular devil that is behind all of it.
I already know that you don't have to find that out in the long run. They
Oh,
already
okay.
showed that.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go.
I'm
But
very clever.
well, I was trying not to give spoilers. Thanks.
I don't care. You watch first
um,
2 or 3 episodes and you know that, Chester. It's
That's
not
true.
that. It's not that big of a.
No. But
that's a better name though. They should have went with that. The Devil's Blade. That's a
the
good name.
Devil's Blade, yeah, yeah. It would be a better, it'd be a more accurate translation because there is a difference between devils and demons in Japan, maybe even
See,
more
this is
clear
why
than
I
in.
like One Piece and I like Bleach because they don't do no fuckery with the names. They just are what they are.
Yeah.
Bleach is Bleach. One Piece is One Piece. Done. Easy. We don't need to make
Naruto,
it complicated.
Naruto.
I still don't know
Yeah,
why it's called
Naruto.
Bleach though. Anybody know why it's called Bleach?
Neither does the man who created it.
Fair,
He
Yeah,
just liked the name Bleach.
he just liked the name Bleach. He
fair
really
enough.
didn't have. Like I've never. That's literally the only answer that I've been able to find. Is he just thought it was a cool name.
Fair
If there
enough.
is a reason, he's forgotten it by now. He's like,
Fair
I don't
enough.
remember.
There are a lot of fans that have made up reasons for him.
Hmm.
Oh, fair. No, people, fans will do that. The Conjuring, I just want to check it again. It did pick up another 100 million this weekend. This franchise just prints money, dude. So
Just
good
a
for
money
them.
maker.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that Downton Abbey. It's something I'll never understand why a bunch of typically women want to watch a bunch of rich aristocratic fags just do aristocratic shit, and
Yeah.
it's not me. Like, it's the same
Mm.
people who get obsessed with like the royal family and what?
Yeah.
What do I care about
I
some poofs living in some other country talking with weird accents about shit that doesn't matter?
my
What do I watch
Yeah.
that for?
my
There's a
answer is
demographic of girls that like period pieces.
fair. My answer
My
is
wife
I
being
don't
one of
know.
them.
Yeah. But they
Watched.
certainly didn't
I've
make
watched
any damn
Downton
money.
Abbey.
I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
surprised that it didn't make any money, to be honest, because it was huge. But I think they waited too long to put this movie out.
Man, that probably is true. That is probably
oof,
100% true.
that's not
Yeah.
making no money.
Even it's a horror
That's
movie from Stephen King, which we talked about earlier, but that's $6 million. That's yeah, it's not good.
yeah.
And it's from
Yeah, I
Lionsgate.
think the Stephen King era is dying.
I think so. I think he killed it.
Oh, that's a shame. That's tragic.
Well, let's take a
He
look at
hasn't done
the.
anything
Ooh,
worth doing in 40 years,
that's
give or take.
painful. That's painful.
I think people just realize he's way overrated.
I say the only thing that we could get from Stephen King that would be worthy is someone got the rights and kept Stephen the hell out of it, and someone did a series, a TV series, or like a Max or something like that of the Gunslinger, the full story.
One, not
It would
that
take
nonsense
Yeah,
ass movie that
yeah,
came
no,
out.
it would take
yeah,
many
I would
seasons, but
agree.
that has potential. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only
But
thing with
again,
Stephen
when did
King
he
that
write
I
that? That
actually ever
was
got into. Oh, it's old.
that's
It is.
super old. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, but he
Yeah, it's
also
real.
the Dark Tower series is what I'm really talking about, and that
Yeah,
is over his entire career, really.
yeah, it's been around. It's
Yeah,
tied to all of his books too.
it
Like he
is.
ties it all around.
He
It's
does. Yeah,
pretty
he
wild,
does.
actually, when you
Yeah.
look into it.
Now the
I've never read the books, but I've read the comic versions of them.
So the novelization of it, because originally it was short stories,
yeah
apparently.
short
The
Yes,
stories.
it was
novelization came
short
out in
stories.
1982, but he had started
Yeah,
writing it in 1978. The
Yeah,
the short stories. So
yeah, they're
yeah,
old.
over 40 years. Over
yeah.
40 years. He hasn't.
Well, the
He's just one of those
Gunslinger.
guys. Like,
Yeah, it is. You're right. He's not like Isaac Asimov or Philip K.
no.
Dick or something like that. But the Gunslinger is the best thing he ever wrote. But the Dark Tower is covers a lot of his work over his entire career. And I think
Mhm.
there is
Yeah,
something there. Now, he's written a bunch of stuff that were intended to be made into movies. Some of them have been. Probably the most famous of that is Sleepwalkers. That is not a book. That was written specifically as a screenplay
yeah,
for Hollywood. Now, to be fair, I know I'm going to get disagreement on this, but I think if someone took Sleepwalkers and fleshed that out, and made a series out of that, there could be something there. There could be, but you got to flesh that out seriously.
Trying to remember that one. What is that one?
Egyptian gods, vampire gods, and their only
yeah.
weakness is cats. It needs fleshing out a
Is
lot.
that the one? Is that the one where the mom and the son have sex
Yes, that
as
one.
cats, as cat
Yes,
people?
that one.
No, what? No, I don't need more of that.
Well, no,
I can find that on the internet right now.
no. Well, hold on. I see. I knew it would be pushback. But let me give my reasoning. Let me give me my reasoning. In the 80s, there were a lot of remakes of bad stuff that had good ideas, and they were successful. These days, they screw up because they go after good stuff and trying to hit
Mhm.
lightning twice, which you don't. I think if Sleepwalkers was reworked, and
You leave the mom and son sex in. That's my question.
well, that's one of the few things that actually made sense in the story. Well, because I know it's weird, but they had become so minimalized in their numbers that they had no choice but to reproduce incestually. So
Yeah,
it actually is
I
canon.
remember that scene. It's baked into my cerebellum for the rest of my life. They weren't doing that reluctantly. They were having a good time
Well, fair
together.
enough. But that's not really the thing I was kind of lingering on.
It's the one. Trust me. I don't want to linger on it. It's in my brain. It's
No, I think
singed.
I think the idea I have is something, ancient Egyptian gods were actually just supernatural beings, and how they survive and function in the modern world. Um, Maybe do something similar to Supernatural, not really, but in that vein.
Mhm.
I just or the Grimm something like that. There could be some fun stuff with it. Is my only point.
It's funny you mentioned that because I've been jostling around this idea in my head called Mr. Grimm.
Mhm.
Grimm fairy tales, the whole deal, but it'd be basically that. He'd be like a private investigator for the paranormal. And that would be his name, Mr. Grimm. Just
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's what I call my dog because his name's Silas Grimm.
Oh,
So I call him Mr.
of
Grimm,
course, his name
and it
is
just gets
Silas
stuck
Grimm.
in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, Spinal Tap 2, Dead on Arrival. Holy crap! And that's
Didn't even know
Bleak.
this existed.
Well, I saw some stuff on it, but this is Bleecker Street too, and those guys usually are bangers, right? Um,
Yep.
that's abysmal. But then
It's not good
again,
money.
well, the British. This is a very British comedy, and they were a little bit busy this past weekend. With 3 million of them marching through the streets and all. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they care about movies right now
right
too much.
now, yeah, and I think that's going to be a problem going forward. The Sound of Music being re-released. Another
I
Toy
don't
Story
even.
didn't hit either. Once again, the weekend with Charlie though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not
I
a
think
very good
that's
weekend.
affecting all of this. But the history of sound, boy, that like,
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, we know what that's about.
oh, gayness. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see
I
here.
like that Chester didn't even know it. It didn't even register to him.
It took a second. Well,
oh
that's not my standard mode. You see. Um. Uh.
boy. Oh, they've been really pushing hard to feminize Christ as much as they can. It's very
Yeah,
disgusting.
Well, are
it
you sure
is.
that's what this is?
Read it. Read the synopsis.
Women in Christ, more than a documentary. Women in Christ is a call to every woman who's ever
Why
wondered
are you
if her
following
story
like that?
matters. It does, because when we see these women, we see the Savior.
Oh my goodness.
I think
Fucking
Chester should have to
Southern
read all
women.
the news articles in that voice from now on.
I
You like that one,
agree.
do you? You like that one?
I just going forward, it's like an old timey like news reporter or something over here.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's my Southern man. So
Bang bang.
I no kidding. That's your Southern man.
it is. It is. Don't
I
expect any more. Don't get better than
Nope.
that.
Too late. Too late.
It's canon event
Uh,
now. Um
okay,
yeah,
crap.
you've
Just
opened
more
a
crap.
can of
Just lots
worms.
of crap. Alrighty then. So this has been a bad weekend, but to be fair, there's a lot going on this weekend, and I don't think cinema was on
hey,
people's.
click on Naked Gun for me. I want to see what it's doing. It's right there at number 22.
Sure.
Did you click it? What happened?
Oh, that's. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong one here. There we go.
There you go. All right.
No.
All right.
No, it's not making money, dude. That's not enough. That's not enough.
Well, the budget we heard was 40 million.
Yeah, but
That's the budget we heard.
I still say if they minimum happiness was probably sitting around double this though.
Maybe.
Yeah,
For a
Maybe. I hope
comedy?
not. I hope they made some money. Because that movie deserves to make money. It's very good. And Paramount.
it is Paramount. Yeah, and of course they just been bought up. So I mean, we know that traditionally, when companies come in and buy stuff up, they tend to wipe the board and restart with new ideas and new
Mhm.
concepts. So I don't know that there's any future in that going forward. With Skydance, we'll see. The people who actually watched it seem to enjoy it though, right?
It's
So
quite
we'll
good.
see. It's what?
It's quite good.
Yeah. I've heard positive people enjoyed it. It was kind of a throwback, is what I've heard. But Anyway, I am on my time and I got to get myself out and get around doing stuff. My wife is supposed to be running around here somewhere, but I haven't seen her all morning. I don't know what she's up to. Probably
Uh-oh.
no good
Trouble.
helping people and you
Trouble.
know, doing all that kind of stuff. She wastes a lot of time helping people. I don't know what her problem is. But
Wastes a lot of time. She wastes a lot of time being a better person than me.
That's true.
Gosh.
That's true.
That's her problem.
I know.
It's her malfunction making me look bad.
God. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I definitely don't deserve the woman I got. That's for damn sure. She's way better human than I am.
Aw. Aw.
Well,
Aw.
dude, I'll kill a motherfucker.
You're a kaiju, Chester.
That is
She
true.
married you to keep the island happy, you see. They didn't need other kaijus
That's
coming.
fair.
So she's like, all right, I'll
Yeah.
do it, guys. I got
Balance.
this. Yeah, I'll
Balance.
balance this out.
Yeah. Actually, to be completely candid, the thing she appreciates the most about me, and these are her words, not mine. The
Yeah.
thing she appreciates most about me is she always knows that no matter what the situation, I'm always going to be calm and logically practical about every situation. And she
Hmm.
appreciates the steadiness, the stalwarty, Walteriness of it.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Curious,
I would have
even.
preferred that, oh, you're a super sexy man, or, something like that, would have probably been a little bit more ego boosting. But, I'll take what I can get.
Take what you can get, Chester.
Yeah,
Never look a gift horse in the mouth.
that's true. Yeah, it's true. I never panic, is the thing. I don't know what that is. What do you think that is? Why do some people, you have the,
You're a psychopath.
oh, that's fair.
That's it. Yeah, your emotions
Yeah.
don't work right. That's all.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. But,
No,
You're
it's
broken.
just uh you're probably not. You're probably just a lot of people, well, I don't say a lot, so being generous. Some people do have less emotional weight for whatever reason. And
yeah,
you're probably just one of those people. Your
yeah.
emotions just don't hit
Yeah.
you as hard as they do other people.
No, they don't.
And it's probably why you rub so many people the wrong way, because they expect you to be all,
Probably.
ooh, and you're just like, yep, yep,
Hmm.
hmm yep.
Hmm.
You're just very, yep.
Well, I mean, honestly, fuck them if they can't take a joke, dude. I mean, it's
Yes.
pretty simple.
Which is why I recommend everybody watch The Naked Gun, because there are many, many jokes and they're all ridiculous and it's a good time.
There you go. Sweet. You got anything to say, Adrian?
Uh, Not really.
Oh, good. Thank you. You're always
Excellent.
so enthusiastic for the people. But I do appreciate you coming in, though, Adrian. I do like it.
That was good.
It's nice to hear your
Not
voice.
really.
Grimlock, what you got?
Oh boy. Well, what a week this was, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I would say to those people, who still may be in disbelief of the kind of people you're dealing with, I hope that this unfortunately was your wake up call. If it was, it's sad that it came to this, but
Yeah.
some people need to see things like this to believe it. These are people without moral, and you cannot operate from a place of morals in a fight with people who have none. Meet your enemies where they are. You can return to morality when the fight's over.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, meet them where they are and better them.
Fair enough, dude. Take us out of here, Thunder.
Very simple. This one right here is from Mr. Kirk. I hope I know he is up there in heaven. He's got no more problems. Finished his race. But this is for the people who are still here. The heart of darkness is constant. Evil's face changes, never its nature. And we have a lot of evil that needs dealt with.
Yeah. Namaste. Later, everybody.